The only way to travel into Jacksonville, the home of the Florida-Georgia game since 1933. And as you cross the Hart Bridge, the excitement builds. The butterflies grow larger. And then you see it, the waves of blue and orange and red and black. And you know you're not just part of a football game, you're part of a happening. It's time to get the party started.
Welcome to Jacksonville, Florida for an SEC East matchup between the Gators and the Dogs.
We're just getting warmed up, just getting started, already fired up. Yeah, this party ain't nothing like it round here, going down out here. I'm getting warmed up and getting started. Everybody
Touchdown,
in here came
Jordan
to party.
started.
You need a good time, well, I brought it.
Holyfield to the goal line, touchdown.
Who's setting it off? You know that's us. You already know we get warmed up. We're just getting warmed up.
Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Gators.
From to the end zone, touchdown, Riley Ridley.
We're just getting warmed up.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS. The best game from the best conference.
You said it, Jason. The best game in the country as the Home Depot SEC on CBS brings us to TIAA Field in Jacksonville and the annual get-together between the Florida Gators and the Georgia Bulldogs, both ranked in the top 10. So important. We talked about it in the pregame show. We'll show you again what the SEC East standings look like. That's why this game means so much. Kentucky's got a date coming up in about a half an hour with Missouri, Georgia, and Florida. The winner of this one has the inside track to make it to Atlanta and the SEC championship. Still a lot of football left, but this one starts it off. Welcome, everybody. Brad Nessler along with Gary Danielson. Partner, when we were here a year ago, the game was almost over before the revelers found their seats. Exit Jim McElwain, enter Dan Mullen. If nothing else, and there's a lot more than nothing else, he's brought a swagger back to the Gators.
Yeah, I tell you how good he's doing. Even the demanding Gator fans think that he's doing a great job, and they're a tough crowd to please. But it's more than just his swagger. I mean, it's his expertise. He's a veteran play caller in this league, and he makes his quarterback better. That's simple as that. Felipe Franks in this game last year, with all that was swirling, was a mess in this game. But look at the change. Look at the change in just 1 year. Dan has him managed. He's not a star, but he's not a guy that it's losing games. But, you know, LSU last week showed the formula for Florida. Their great defense is going to have to slow down this Georgia team, and they're going to have to do it with their veterans. You know, David Reese and C.C. Jefferson have come back, and Chauncey Gardner-Edwards, their veteran safety. Those three guys who've played in a lot of these games, they have to come through.
And they're going to put pressure on Jake Fromm. We saw 2 weeks ago against LSU the last time Georgia played. We said we didn't think they'd been tested.
Right.
They got tested, and they failed that test.
They did, and I think it starts now with Kirby Smart. And I think he was very smart to really go back to his days at Alabama and tell his team that out of the 4 national championships he was a part of, only one was undefeated. You can do this. It's from now on. But he needs his quarterback, Jake Fromm, to come out of this little mini slump. He was the guy that really drove the team a year ago, but he had help a year ago, and I think the help is the same formula that this Georgia team used in 2017. It's got to go back to the ground and pound. I know they don't have Chubbs, and they don't have Sonny Michel, but they have 2 guys that can do it in Swift and Holyfield. I look for Georgia to shorten that bench and do whatever they can to help their quarterback with the running game.
Fromm barely had to throw a year ago because Chubb and Sonny Michel went for over 200 between them. Can those 2 guys do it today for Georgia as they try to get back on track against the Gators? The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by GMC, USAA, Zaxby's, and by the Home Depot.
The Georgia-Florida rivalry is pageantry, passion, when Brandon Spikes stuck Noshawn Marino, and drilled him and was rubbing it in his face.
Everything you think what college football is, that's what that rivalry is.
This was absolutely planned.
Coming out that tunnel, seeing the red on one side and the blue on the other.
You're talking about one of the great rivalries in all of college football. It's one of the coolest things you'll ever see.
I ain't got nothing to lose.
And it's just about to happen. Coach Mullen, we talked about him, and moments ago, Jamie Erdahl spoke with him.
Coach, you know this rivalry well, but here's your first as a head coach. Considering those emotions, what'd you just tell the guys?
Oh, it's exciting. It's exciting. Great honor to be the head coach at the University of Florida. All the tradition of the university, tradition this game. I'm fired up for the game.
What's offensive attack did you prepare for from Georgia today?
Well, both. They're going to try to run the ball on us. So we got to be really physical at the line of scrimmage, and really whoever's going to control the line of scrimmage is going to win the game.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
So the series continues. I mentioned it started back in the 30s. There's an argument about how many times these teams have actually played. They don't agree on that. Georgia calls it the 97th edition. Florida says it's 96. They say the 1904 game in Macon didn't count because we weren't officially the University of Florida at that point. It doesn't matter anymore. The weather, we've got some wind issues at times, but other than that, it's beautiful. This is one of those stadiums, Gary, where you can never tell about the wind.
No, right. I was down on the field before the game, and you can't look at the flags and be confident that you know which way it's blowing.
Florida won the toss and deferred, so they'll kick away to the Bulldogs. Mecole Hardman back deep for Georgia. Both teams 6-1. Both teams 4-1 in the conference. The winner of this one is looking good on the east side of the SEC, and maybe a chance to get to Atlanta. Evan McPherson to kick. And we're underway. Mecole Hardman just watches it go out the back of the end zone, so Georgia will work from the 25-yard line. And with that comes our Chick-fil-A starting lineups, and it all starts with number 11, Jake Fromm, coming off one of his poor performances. He's actually around 73% completion percentage until 2 weeks ago, so it's taken a big dip with that loss to LSU. Here's the guys that join him. Isaac Nauta, one of his favorite targets at tight end. And there's two of them in there right now, Nauta and Charlie Warner. Elijah Holyfield, the single setback. Gets the first carry and goes for 4, almost 5. Adam Schuler in on the stop for the Florida defense, and it's a good defense. Comes in, ranked number 15 in the country in points allowed. Roshan Joseph is all over the field, number 11. He's right in the middle of your picture. We'll call his name a lot today. They gave Holyfield 4, second down and 6.
Funny, no secrets here. Both sides know exactly what the other side wants to do. Run the ball first between the tackles.
Terry Godwin in motion. The throws a wide out screen over to Holloman. Holloman, big hit. Prevented him from getting the first down. Wow, head on over there. It looked like he was going to get to the sticks, and then Steiner said, I don't think so.
You're right. Boy, that was all out. That's what you see in this game. When you get these skilled wide receivers for Georgia, the ball in space, you have to tag them. If you try to arm tag them, they're just too quick and shifty. Tackles in space for those secondary for Florida, a huge part.
Georgia's been good on 3rd and short, as you saw there, 3rd down and a yard. Fromm's going to do it himself, and they push the pile, and he's got the first down. Good surge by the Georgia offensive line there.
It's a little bit of what Georgia had to deal with last week, 2 weeks, or last week against LSU, is 2 weeks ago, is the short yardage quarterback sneak offense. You get it 3rd and 1, and Joe Burrow did that to Georgia, and I said, hey, that works. Get it to 3rd and short and take it up the middle.
Joe did it about 4 times.
Yes. 3 of them on 4th down, I think.
James Cook into the lineup for Georgia. He's spread out as a wide receiver. They keep it on the ground. Holyfield bounces off the first guy. Fromm's out in front of him. Got a little chip block, and Holyfield, big run, first down for Elijah.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you're trying to handle these skilled players for Georgia, you have to wrap up. Just come up and try to hit them hard does not work. Holyfield will spin on you every time. You got a chance, you have to wrap up those ties. That time it was Bashawn Joseph that didn't wrap up. You cannot go with the gill shot. You got to go and bring those arms.
Holyfield got 14 for number 13 and into Florida territory for the first time at the 49. Right back to him, and Holyfield again powers his way to the 42-yard line.
Let's talk, Ness, a little bit about Elijah Holyfield. As he taps out right now, I think that between he and Swift, they should get 40 touches in this game. You know, I'm looking for something like 32, 33 rushing attempts, and the rest maybe short passes or screens. And I really think Holyfield has to be on the field for at least a third of the plays for Georgia. He's that much of a weapon.
Swift will take his spot, and Swift cuts it outside. A stiff arm, a second, and now he's got the edge and he's got the speed. DeAndre Swift. So there's the combo Gary was talking about, and Georgia's in the red zone already.
And it was the stiff arm. Holyfield will run you over, and Swift uses his feet and his stiff arm to get around the corner. Great running backs. A 1-2 punch that I felt against LSU. They went away from too fast.
Yep. So at the 19-yard line, a first down. Swift stays in there. Simmons in motion. Swift tripped himself a little bit, but still got it down close to the 15. A 1-2 punch through 7 games. There's the numbers. Swift with more carries, Holyfield with more yards, both with 4 touchdowns. And we got an injured Gator on the field right now. And Holyfield comes back in. C.J. Henderson is the guy that's down, and we'll check on him when we come back. Watch your sports news and highlights straight without the noise. Stream CBS Sports HQ, the all-new 24/7 Sports News Network, available on your phone, computer, and connected TV devices. CBS Sports HQ, sports for true fans. Gary's on there after every game we have on Saturday. C.J. Henderson heading to the tent. As long as it took him to get up and to get him up, I don't know if he's going to be coming back.
Well, there he is, and you're going to see DeAndre Swift run right at him. You know, what you do with Florida's speed is you run right at him, and you force their speed corners to make those tackles. This injury could be bigger than just losing one guy. Remember, on the play, it was actually David Reese that got in there with his arm, the back of his arm, isn't it? They've also lost earlier against Kentucky, Marco Wilson, their other starting cornerback for this Florida team.
That hurts even worse when it's friendly fire. And at the 15, second down and 6. Holloman in motion toward the ball, gives to Holyfield, trying to find a hole off the left side. Got about 3 out of it.
I know Georgia fans are sick of hearing about this, but remember 2 weeks ago against LSU, they ran the ball very effectively, and then they gave up on it.
Right.
You know, they got it down there, and then they threw a couple times. Right now, 8 plays, 7 rushes. They have not had a negative play. The shortest rush of the game, the quarterback sneak. They have been controlling the line of scrimmage, and those offensive linemen, those big guys, as Dan Mullen told Jamie, we know what they're going to do. They're going to run right at us.
And they have effectively. See what they do on 3rd down and 3, although whistle stops play here. Gives Holyfield a chance to retie his cleats. And it should be a flag. There's too many guys on the field, isn't there? Or a legal substitution.
Delay a game on the defense. Number 12's knees were not covered by his pants and was asked to leave the game and did not do that.
Wow, we haven't had that one.
That's a half
That's a new rule this year.
Yep.
Which results in a first down.
So
it's a uniform violation.
C.J. McWilliams said, no, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, well, you got to leave. It's a rule.
You don't hear that very often.
No, you got to have knee pads over your knees. I mean, you look at the NFL, and
No, I get that he might not have the right knee pads, but when the official says you got to leave,
you got to go.
No, you got to go.
It's like arguing with your mom and dad.
Exactly.
At the 7, it's an automatic first down with that penalty that we hadn't seen all year. Holyfield back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Nice job by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and company to meet him.
Yeah, coming off the edge, called blitz from the secondary. That's what Chauncey Gardner does a lot. Again, going to what this offensive line does best. They're huge. They're mammoth. They like to block straight ahead. Okay, so now 2nd and here near the goal line. This is when you start to wonder, is this where you start to go play action pass?
I still don't see that he got his pants over his knees, but he's back out there. 2nd down to go. Holyfield, a setback. 2 wide out group for Jake Fromm. They're going to blitz. Fromm wrapped up by Joseph. We told you you'd see number 11 all day long, and there's his first big play.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that Georgia has to know about Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator. There he is on the right with the red visor, orange visor. You're going to bring the linebackers. You know, he was the defensive coordinator for Georgia. He loves to blitz. So you better be ready for it. And this time, no one touches it. Again, Holyfield had him, but he was going for the block, the fake. You got to get up there and take him out.
Now it's 3rd down and goal, but the Dogs going in the wrong direction right now.
Here's where those defensive ends have to make a statement for Florida.
Draw play. DeAndre Swift straight up the middle. Got it inside the 4. And it's 4th down.
I don't think Kirby Smart will gamble here. He went for 7 points against LSU, gave up the 3. This time, I believe he's going to take the 3.
That'll bring out Rodrigo Blankenship, his kicker, who's 10 out of 12 on the year.
It would be in your face, though, to fake one here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
It would be. All right, all you critics, take that.
Jake Kumar to the hold. It'll be a 21-yard attempt by Rodrigo Blankenship. No fake field goal this week. Up and through. So Georgia's opening march was a great one until the sack by Joseph. O'Shawn Joseph saved the Gators probably 4 points on the play right there. Still, it's 3-0 Georgia. CBS Super Bowl season continues tomorrow. Denver will battle Mahomes and company in Kansas City. Jets, Chicago, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Carolina, Indianapolis, and Oakland in the late game. JB and the guys kick it off with Nate and Boomer, Phil, the coach. NFL Today powered by Ram Trucks. Noon Eastern tomorrow. Good lineup of games. Good opening series for Georgia. 12 plays, 71 yards. Had to settle for a field goal. And Gary, as you said to me during the break, both teams, both fans.
Yeah, I think both bases are happy with the way that the drive ended. But I think Georgia's more happy with how the drive progressed.
Right. Kadarius Toney and Freddie Swain are back deep awaiting Rodrigo Blankenship's kick, but he doesn't let many come back out. He's got 47 touchbacks on 51 kickoffs this year, so those guys may not have to worry about this. And they won't. So Florida likewise will start from the 25, and that brings us to Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And it starts with their quarterback. We talked about him in the open. The sophomore, Felipe Franks. What a season and what a difference. Gary talked about it in the open already, but you see the numbers, 15 and 5. That's a far cry from a year ago. There's the offense that joins in. Martez Ivey, he knows about this. This is the 4th game he's playing in with that veteran offensive line. He's seen a lot of dog-gator matchups. He's at left tackle. Jordan Scarlett behind Felipe Franks. 3 wideouts to the top. And it's a flea flicker to open things up. Franks, plenty of time. Going long. Man there, and he just overshot Van Jefferson. It would have been a touchdown.
Wow. Last week, 2 weeks ago, Jake Fromm missed 2 touchdowns early in the game. Open the game with the flea flicker. Here's the 2 players you have to look at. The action brings in the safety. Tyreek McGee, number 26, and boom, he's passing. You can never get up to speed when you got a receiver going full speed. When you turn to try to catch him, you never get it. And the big arm,
a little too big.
Franks were too big.
Yep. Now he's going to throw short out in the flat, the wide out screen, and this one works pretty well. 8-yard pickup for Trevon Grimes against the Georgia defense that looks like this. And one of the best around as a shutdown corner, if you will, is DeAndre Baker. And we were talking with Coach Mullen. We said, do you stay away from him? He says, no, we attack everybody the same way. 3rd and 2. On the ground, Scott with a first down, but the ball came out, and Georgia's got it going the other way. Down the sideline. Richard LeCount has it back for the Dogs inside the 15. I think it's Monty Rice that knocked it out.
Florida has been the beneficiary of the turnover battle all season. But remember, when we did those opening games for Georgia, they were doing it with their defense, and Monty Rice was the guy. Knocked it out with the tackle. It would have been a very successful first down play, but now Georgia has the ball again, back in scoring position.
LeCount came in leading Georgia in tackles, and now he's got himself a gift and a return to the 13-yard line.
And look at this. They come right back with Holyfield. He's already had 5 touches. He only had 7 in the LSU the whole game.
He's got another touch here, but he's going to be touched down in the backfield. That didn't look right from the get-go.
They ran into each other. That didn't work.
No mesh point there except C.C. Jefferson meshing with Holyfield.
And it had to be no surprise there. You knew Grantham was going to come with the blitz. C.J. McWilliams was coming off the edge, and you saw the running back and the quarterback collide. It was a big play, again, when it could have been just handed off and try to gain 4 or 5 yards and not get behind the sticks.
Kirby looked like he was telling Elijah Holyfield, just don't worry about it. We got a lot of football left. Swift is in there now, and Fromm in the shotgun on 2nd down at 15. And it's a draw play to Swift. And that only got about a yard. Nice job by C.J. McWilliams to stay home, make the tackle. And it brings up 3rd down.
And this is the down the Florida speed rush has to win. Georgia will gain confidence if you get into 3rd and long. If it's a passing play, they have yet to throw downfield in this game. One quick screen. But if it is a drop-back passing game, Georgia will gain confidence if they can keep that pass rush away from their quarterback.
Jake Fromm has not liked 3rd down and 9+, and this is 3rd and 13. Fromm floats one to the corner. Holloman, touchdown. Much better than that one.
Well, and you pick on a substitute player. Remember, we talked about Marco Wilson and C.J. Henderson not in. So what do you have? Jawan Taylor, number 29, a safety-type player. And before the ball was snapped, Jake Fromm knew where it was going.
He sure did. Blankenship's extra point is good. Well, the big play by the Georgia defense gave it back to their offense in a good spot. And Jake Fromm knew exactly what he was going to do. Richard LeCount and Monty Rice come up with the defense. Then the Dogs offense goes to work, and it's Fromm, 16-yard touchdown pass to Holloman. And Georgia leads Florida 10-0. 9 minutes in, Georgia leading by 10 already. Monday on the Late Show, Colbert's All New with Kerry Washington. Then later this week, catch Mike Myers, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Billy Eichner. All new this week on CBS.
You know, if you're a Gator fan right now, you think back to last year, Georgia had 21 points before Florida had their first down. Now they got 10 points without their first down.
And what could have been a touchdown on a flea flicker, just a yard too long.
And what could have been a first down.
Yep.
So they could have had a touchdown, they could have had a first down. They got neither. They got a touchdown by Georgia.
touchback number 49.
Let's talk about this again, okay? First play, remember, Georgia had a breakdown. They took advantage of it. Watch right here. This is what Fromm's looking at, trying to disguise the coverage. Jake Fromm says he'll never get there. I'm going to throw it to that corner, and there's no way the safety can get to it. A coverage breakdown trying to disguise. Felipe Franks had his shot, and he missed it.
And we said Jake Fromm hadn't been good on 3rd and long. Boy, it made me shut up. That was a perfect pass on 3rd and 13. I want to blame our graphics department on this.
They put it up there. He's got to read it.
That's right. Well, Michael Pirine in the backfield gets a carry straight up the gut and goes for about 12.
So here's if you're Dan Mullen now, everything he's called has worked, and he's down 10-0, right? I mean, this time he gets the zone read, which probably is a give almost all the way with Felipe Franks in there. But he's called a perfect game, and he's down 10-0.
First down at the 37. 3 wideouts to the top for Franks if he goes that way. He won't. He'll keep it on the ground. Pirine trying to follow his blockers for about 4. Brought down by LeCount and Walker. So they've got it out to the 41-yard line. Pirine and Scarlett, a good 1-2 punch. Talk about Swift and Holyfield. Those two guys both had great games. The last time Florida played, which was the win over Vanderbilt. This time the play fake, the throw's a little bit low, but he got it out there to Freddie Swain. And now we got some shenanigans going for the first time on the sideline. A little pushing and shoving, no flags.
And this game has a reputation of being chippy, but in the last 4 years, there's only been one unsportsmanlike penalty called in this game.
Wow.
But it is 3rd and medium, and I would call that a successful 2nd down.
Kyle Pitts is a wide receiver to the right, then 3 up on top. Franks in the gun on 3rd and 4. They need to get to the 47 for a first down. Felipe buying himself some time. Late throw, but it's a good one. First down to Kadarius Toney.
Well, Felipe Franks bought time for Kadarius Toney to get across the field on the play. Really interesting here. The end rusher, I guess it was coming in and then spun inside. I thought if he'd kept going outside, he'd have had a play. Because he spun back in, that allowed Franks to get outside.
And Florida in Georgia territory for the first time at the 44. As they got a 13-yard pickup on that 3rd down, and now Franks will keep it. As Gary says, he doesn't do this a lot, but pretty good. Pick up a 4.
Just enough. Just be a threat to keep those backside ends where they are looking at the quarterback and not chasing down the run.
Dan Mullen would say he has to be a willing runner. I don't ask him to run a lot, but be willing to. And he was willing to that time for a pickup of 3. 2nd down and 7. Josh Hammond in motion. Franks off the play fake, plenty of time, throws the out, and he throws it right to Georgia. Tyreek McGee with the interception.
He had the man in the flat that time, and he decided to go for the deep player, and that cost him. You got to take the easy throw. He tried to force it, and McGee baited him into the throw.
Georgia's 2nd takeaway of the day. Their offense has got it back when we return.
Want more stats? Hey Siri, who leads college football in rushing yards?
I don't know the answer to that. This guy just threw his 6th interception. That part I know. Miscues so far, Gary.
Yeah, it sure has. And as we talked about, they've had plays that would have worked. An overthrow to start out the game that should have been a touchdown on the play, and then a first down run that ends up being a turnover. And I don't know, I have to be honest, was this a misread or just a poor throw? I don't know if he was trying to loop the ball over and just throw it woefully short, or did he not see him? Hard to imagine he could not see the flat defender on that play.
First down, Georgia with a turnover at their own 29. Elijah Holyfield right in the middle of the pack, and the pack gets pushed for a decent gain.
This Florida defense has to figure out a way to get their team back in the game.
I don't think C.J. Henderson's going to be back in the game. It's like he's heading to the locker room. Jamie, you got more on it?
Yeah, they did everything they possibly could to get his low back to loosen up, which was the issue from that injury. You see him walking very gingerly, couldn't even break out in a jog. Now, during that last series, Jawan Taylor had the defensive headset on the entire time. I think they're trying to work out that communication in the secondary.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that as well. Second down and 6 here. Swift back in there with Fromm. He'll get the carry. And going to be short of the first down. We'll bring up third down and 2 or 3.
After a turnover, we always think, will they go for the big play? Try to make Florida pay for the turnover. The patience of Jim Chaney, offensive coordinator with Georgia. Runs the ball, has a third and medium. Now, this is the time when your quarterback can take any throw and make a first down.
Nada, the tight end's in a slot on the right side. Make that Charlie Warner, excuse me. They'll keep it on the ground. And Swift's not going to get anything. Nice job by the Florida defense. Jabari Zuniga was the first guy, and then Chauncey Gardner-Johnson cleaned up. And it's fourth down. And we have a Georgia player down, and that is Andrew Thomas, and that's not good news. Yes. A big left tackle.
And he's been struggling with injuries, but it was his ankle injury that he was struggling with before.
Sophomore out of Lithonia, 6'5", 320
and they're
pounder.
Looking at that ankle again. Did the pile fall on him?
Yep, it sure did.
Yes, it did.
On the right leg.
Yep.
Andrew Thomas just getting to the Georgia sideline. The big fella rolled up on that last play. We'll see if he can come back. Meanwhile, it's the first punting situation for Georgia. Jake Camarda to kick. And Freddie Swain will have to call for a fair catch. He has to run up on it at the 23-yard line. That's where Florida will take over. Full house here in Jacksonville today. And our aerial coverage is sponsored by State Farm, here to help life go right. For a while there, it looked like there weren't a lot of Florida fans here, but the security is really tight outside the stadium today, and a lot of people were waiting in line for a long time to get in here. Now you see the split right down the middle of orange and blue and red and black.
Yep, it's filled up. So the quarterback whisperer, Dan Mullen, has to whisper into Felipe Frank's ear to settle down.
Yep. Just well, he was too long on one and too short on the other.
Because as much as you want to run the ball and make that as the lead of your offense, you can't win without a quarterback.
Keep it on the ground here with P. Ryan. Bounced off the first guy and got 5 or 6. Looked like he was going to lose a yard. Instead, good gain. Brings up second down at 4. Frank's in the gun from just inside the 30. P. Ryan waits for his blockers, puts his head down, and comes up a yard shy. Richard LeCount, the leading tackler for Georgia, who already has a fumble return today, made the tackle.
Well, you can still feel both offensive coordinators, Chaney and Mullen, calling plays, understanding that they have to help their quarterback. And here's a little wildcat to help the quarterback. No, it isn't. That's CLC Franks.
He's under center. Yep. So that's why it looked that way.
Yeah.
P. Ryan got it. Didn't have it at first, but second effort by number 22, and he bounced across the first down marker.
You get so used to seeing that quarterback in shotgun, don't you?
Especially with the white uniforms and helmets today, you lose them down the line.
Well, this Florida offensive line is massive and veteran as well. Ivy, Jordan, Johnson, and Taylor have played a lot of football. When we talked to Kirby, he singled them out as being veteran players.
Remember when Dan Mullen said to Jamie, maybe we'll use 2 quarterbacks
and
today.
He has.
Guess what?
Yep.
Emory Jones in at quarterback. And this is a run all the way. And out across the 40 to the 41. Jones, a freshman out of LaGrange, Georgia. Georgia native, getting a little taste of what this matchup means.
Well, whenever you have time to do things, you have time to tweak your offense. This series is famous for that.
Yeah.
Small changes, using a fullback back in the day for Florida. Just the small changes that keeps the defense off balance. And Dan didn't just play around.
No, he didn't.
He's got an idea, and he's going to put a new quarterback in there every once in a while.
We'll see if he starts the second quarter. First quarter belongs to Georgia thanks to turnovers and a touchdown pass by Jake Fromm. End of one. 10-0 Dogs will return to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. Enjoyed that first 15 minutes and that treat he had just about 20 seconds ago. 10-0 Dogs. Hasn't been a good first quarter for the Gators in the past month. Felipe Franks back in at quarterback as we start the second quarter. A second down and 5 at the 41-yard line. And he's coming up throwing out in the flat, and that's going to be a first down toss. Ball came out at the end, but it's a first down for the Gators. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jamie's down on the field. First quarter that seemed like was really even, just the way things went, but because of the 2 turnovers, that's the difference.
Right, but what I took from it was that Swift and Holyfield had 13 rushing attempts in the first quarter. I predicted somewhere near 40.
Right.
They're in front of that curve right now. And Jake Fromm, in the last 5 quarters against Florida, has now only thrown 9 passes total.
When he doesn't have to throw a lot, he's really effective.
That's the formula that worked for them a year ago.
So with Franks back in there, the Gators have it at the 48-yard line with a first down. Here's the toss to Pirine. Pirine puts his foot in the ground, and a nice cutback and a good run. Got almost 10.
You run the toss, you have to have your tight ends doing the job, and Ciante Lewis that time did a great job to get that opening and allow Pirine to just put his foot in the ground and make a first down.
They actually gave him the 10. Yep, you're right, first down. Back in Georgia territory. They were here not too long ago before Franks threw the interception. Pirine in the middle of the packs, struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage. Won't quite. Let's go to Adam Zucker in New York. Ford update, Zuck.
All right, Ness, it's a Ford update in Kentucky, a team that can run the ball, tied with Florida and Georgia atop the East. Special teams coming through at Mizzou. Darius West blocking a 43-yard field goal. Kentucky on top, 3-0. 5 and change to go in the first quarter. Back to you guys.
And remember, Kentucky, like Florida and Georgia, both 4-1 in the SEC East. Kentucky's got Georgia next week. Play action. Franks wants to go deep and does. Out there, tipped, almost intercepted again. Intended for Trevon Grimes.
Boy, underthrew that one badly. This should have been intercepted. Plenty of time this time. You got to put this ball almost into the end zone to make this throw right now. You've got him, throw it deep. Do not allow that safety to come over at 90 degrees and should have been picked off.
Let me ask you this, Gary. That overthrow on the flea flicker, is it in his head now?
I guess, but boy, it's going to be tough to play quarterback when every time you throw an incomplete pass, it gets in your head. You just can't let that happen.
5 receivers, 3 to the top. 1 comes back in motion now. Franks on 3rd down and 10. Throws short, wide out screen, got it to Tyree Cleveland, and Cleveland's got a first down.
I'll tell you, beautiful design here. You need a big play. You design a play that Georgia has never seen. Okay, and you knew when as soon as it was motion and you see the linebacker chasing them, they had man-to-man. You get one key block and you make another first down. That's where that quarterback coach, that play caller, can help a struggling quarterback.
5 out of 8 today with 1 misfire and 1 that should have been a touchdown if he had pulled the string a little bit on it. Now back to the ground and a loss in the play. Malik Herring on the stop on Pirine. He's going to lose a yard there. Pirine goes out and Jordan Scarlett comes back in. And the tight end fell out of his stance. That's going to be a false start. Morrill Stevens.
Yeah, but I didn't see Georgia react to it. They just pointed to it.
False start on the offense. Number 82. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
He is allowed to shift, and since Georgia didn't move, he should have lined up and moved a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia could have right away touched, but all they did was point to him.
So it brings up 2nd down and 16 with a penalty. Gators, the 2nd most penalized team in the conference. Jordan Scarlett off the right side. Good run. Got it to the 30. Past the original line of scrimmage. So it brings up 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, 3rd down and long. And I wonder, with the lack of expert play by their quarterback right now, would Dan Mullen play for a field goal here? Keep this ball on the ground, try to get this game, and put some points on the board for the Gators.
The kicker's a freshman, and his longest this year is 48. Empty backfield for Franks, and 3rd down and 8. Georgia crowd coming to life for their defense. Franks, quarterback draw.
Yep.
Almost had the ball taken away from him.
Not surprised. You don't want your quarterback to make a mistake. You want to put some points on the board. Keep within touch to try to make this a 7-point game.
He did such a good job to get so close. Now they go for it.
Will they or not? 40-yard field goal from here.
Now they're going for it. So Franks got him a big chunk. They only need 1 more yard. 4th down. Georgia thinking about a blitz. Play action. Franks, here comes the pressure. He lobs it. Incomplete. Stevens, the tight end's looking for a flag, and he got one.
He's going to get it. No doubt about it. Jawan Taylor, 44, saw the crossing tight end and grabbed it.
So they're going to get the 1st down.
Watch it right here. You're going to get the crossing, delay,
pass interference, delay. Defense, number 44. That's a spot foul with an automatic 1st down.
So I think you're right, Brad. You know, we talked about they're going to run on 3rd down, but he got so much. He had a play he knew he could go to and said, I'm going to dial it. I mean, LSU did it, what, 4 or 5 times?
Yeah.
4th down kept LSU in the game and hurt Georgia.
Georgia's going to look back on their 4th down defense this season at the end of the year and go, man, we didn't do very good in those 2 games.
Yep.
1st down at the 15. Scarlett trying to cut outside, and he got away. Still on his feet. Jordan Scarlett to the 1.
What a run. You pull the tackle, and the best thing to do is follow Martez Ivey, number 73. He's very athletic, great feet. And that's exactly what Scarlett did. He slowed down, he read it, and he got around the corner.
They hustle up to the line, go with some tempo here, and it's Felipe Franks, airborne, touchdown Gators.
I'll tell you, what a drive. What a well-crafted drive. Just think about this. Georgia's got a struggling quarterback, and what do? They manage him. They manage him with easy throws, trickeration. They do a little bit of quarterback draw. And then you just take the big quarterback and make the touchdown.
First, it was the Chick-fil-A pylon cam showing us that Scarlett got it that close. And then Felipe Franks from above with the touchdown. And the extra point is up and good. And as Gary said, a well-designed march all the way down the field. 14 plays, 76 yards, 2 different quarterbacks, over 7 minutes, and Franks over from the 1. It's 10-7, Georgia. Tonight, the Home Depot College football on CBS features a 3rd-ranked Fighting Irish battling the Midshipmen for the 92nd consecutive time. Game takes place in San Diego, home to 35,000 plus Navy soldiers, so you can expect quite an atmosphere tonight on CBS. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Rick Neuhausen will call it for you. Clemson ran to 8-0 today with a win. Notre Dame still undefeated. There's the undefeateds remaining, including Alabama with the week off. We've got them against LSU in Baton Rouge next week. CBS legend and our dear friend Vern Lundquist at the game today. Lauren Smith, Georgia historian and legend also sitting together.
I saw Vern with his iPhone up. Do you think he's figured out how to use that thing yet?
I don't know. I still thought he had a flip phone, but that's a whole different deal. I got everybody's attention down in the dining tent today when Vern walked in. He got about a 2-minute ovation. It was great to see him.
You're right.
Here's a short kick. Don't see many of these. Taking on the fly is Mecole Hardman, and he can fly. Knocked down though as he crossed the 31-yard line. Stop on the special teams, so Georgia goes back to work. They had a 10-0 lead. It's been cut to a field goal.
It is interesting, you know, Jake Fromm at this point thrown 2 passes, but if you look back in the last 4 years, twice the winning team's quarterback barely threw. 2014, Treon Harris was 3 for 6, and last year Jake Fromm was 4 for 7. Of course, they rushed for 418 and 292 yards in those games.
Jake threw for 101 and 1 touchdown last week, and he's coming up expecting to throw here and completes. Nope, in and out of the hands of Holloman, the guy they threw the touchdown to earlier. And that was Trey Dean, the freshman, who put the hit on Holloman, and the ball came out. So second down from the 30. There's the first 3 possessions. A punt the last time after a field goal and touchdown that followed turnovers. 1 a fumble and 1 an interception. Fromm throws out in the flat to Mecole Hardman. Looking for some blockers. He didn't get any.
Great job that time by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He played off the block and then made the play.
And Hardman's still down. Riley Ridley and Jeremiah Holloman were the guys that were trying to throw blocks out there for him, and they didn't get much of anything. And now one of the big playmakers on this Georgia team is down.
Watch Chauncey Gardner take on the block, defeat the block, and then make the tackle. And then he fell on his ankle.
Not good news for Georgia. He's a special teams threat as a punt and kick returner and their top receiver. Mecole Hardman walking off. They were actually working on his left ankle and his right foot, and he's going to the tent to have both of those looked at.
Last 3rd and long, Georgia avoided the I'm sorry, I did not see that looking on the field.
Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans brings us our scholar athletes. Mecole's one of them. Fred Johnson's the other. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans showing their commitment to the investment of our future by donating $1,000 to Florida and Georgia's General Scholarship Fund.
We still have to do the part of the scholastic part of this game. This is college football.
That's right.
We got to do it. Let's see if Georgia is going to dare pass and put these defensive ends back in the ball game here. Last time they were in field goal range and ran it.
Remember, on a 3rd and 13, they got a touchdown. This is 3rd and 9. Fromm, look out. Those guys are coming, and there's going to be a holding call on Georgia, I think, to make matters worse.
Yeah, it was C.C. Jefferson got the inside rush, and he got held on the play, but I'm sure it'll be declined by Florida.
On the offense. That penalty will be declined. 4th down. That was number 66 on the hold.
So really the first time, even on the touchdown pass on 3rd down, it was a quick pass. He just let it go. The first time this offensive line has had to pass block, they get a holding penalty. Declined, obviously, but that speed from the defensive ends is what Georgia is trying to stay away from.
Jake Camarda will kick. Freddie Swain is back deep. He's 10th in the country in punt returns. Took one to the house against Colorado State earlier this year. Not going to get a handle on this one, though, as it's going to bounce out of bounds around the 30. And that is where Florida goes back to work on offense. They scored the last time they had it. To cut it to 3, they'll have it again when we come back.
7 Georgia as we welcome you back to Jacksonville. I found out this week that Florida quarterback Felipe Franks and the wide receivers play in a rousing game of Uno for about 2 hours before every game. Now, you know the game, get rid of your cards by matching numbers and colors, so I thought, how does this game relate to Florida, Georgia? Well, here we go. Florida wants to play their card saying we have one of the best bounce backs year to year. Georgia says not so fast. We might have tripped up against LSU 2 weeks ago, but we are here to play. Georgia wants to pass for almost 240 yards per game. Florida says we have the 6th best passing defense in the league, but this is the best card to have in this game, and you know who's got it? Georgia. DeAndre Baker. How does Florida either attack him or go away from him? Who knows who gets rid of their cards first, guys? Uno!
That Jamie, she's a card, isn't she?
Well, I say,
yes, she
and
is.
that's a pretty good wild card, and I agree. When will Dan Mullen, you just can't concede half the field to a guy because of his reputation.
Franks gives it off to Damian Pierce, the freshman, third tailback in the game for the Gators. Jordan Davis made the tackle.
When it was 10-0, I said the Gator defense had to get him back in the game, and they got a 3-and-out. Now, what can Kirby's defense do? Okay, the last drive took it right down the field, got him back in the game. Kirby has made his name for himself building this defense. Now can his defense get Georgia back the ball in good field position?
He's got a fumble recovery and an interception for that defense so far today. 2nd down and 9, and Franks on the run. Is he going to pitch it? He will to the trailer. That's Pierce, and Pierce close to another first down.
Some guys just have a feel, and Pierce, the freshman running back, does. Even though he had to track the football, he felt that he could cut back at the same time. As soon as he caught it, he cut back. That's hard to do. Some guys cannot look at two things at the same time. He kept his peripheral vision on the ball and the flowing Georgia defense.
And got the Gators to within a yard of the first down.
And you know, the Gators may have a struggling quarterback, but they're not struggling running the ball.
No.
17 rushes for 97 yards.
Remember, Georgia gave up 275 on the ground to LSU a couple of weeks ago. And timeout taken by Florida.
First charge timeout, Florida.
We'll take it with him with 7:41 remaining. What's Dan Mullen going to stir up next?
Adam Zucker in New York coming up on the Geico Halftime Report. Houston, BJ, Gus Malzahn and I get you caught up on today's action, including Northwestern winning its 4th straight to sit alone atop the Big Ten West. Clayton Thorson, one of his 3 total touchdowns, and a 2-touchdown win over the Badgers. Back to Jacksonville.
Where it's 10-7 with 7:41 remaining in the first half. And now do Project Smarter, presented by the Home Depot. Gary?
Well, you're always smart when you pick up 3rd down conversions. The last drive to the touchdown, they really had 2 of them. This one, 3rd and 12, and then I thought this might be a run just to get a field goal, but he gained enough to go for it on 4th down. That led to the touchdown.
They got another 3rd down and a yard as you look in on Nick Buchanan, the center. Tim Tebow over there on the sideline. I know what play I'd call if he was out there probably. Would you?
Well, I think I might do it with this guy. The way he stuck it into the end zone before. He's huge, by the way, Felipe Franks.
He's 6'6", 240.
I'd run the same play.
3rd and 1. It is the same play, and it's the same result. First down, Florida.
Move the ball forward, manage your quarterback, do things that your team does well. Both coaches talk about it. We got to put our players in position to succeed.
And that's what Dan Mullen has done with Felipe Franks this year, and it's paying off. The exception of a couple of missed throws and an interception, he's played pretty well. High snap, gets it to Pierce. Pierce wrapped up at the line of scrimmage by Tate Crowder. No gain on the play. Now let's test your knowledge right now with today's Aflac trivia question, which is 5 Heisman Trophy winners have played for these 2 teams. Who's the only player of that group with a losing record in this series?
You know, if we got a shot of those 2 guys we got it before, Lauren and Vern, I think they would know the answer.
They would know the answer.
Right.
And Tim's not the answer.
No.
No. Even though we showed him on the sideline. 2nd and 9. Play fake. Toss out to Tony. Kadarius pushed out of bounds by Tyson Campbell. And it'll bring up 3rd down again.
Find ways to get your playmakers the ball. Modern college football. Long handoff, get it to Tony, make somebody miss, get down to 3rd and medium. Keep those pass rushers off your quarterback.
This one's a little more interesting, though. Yes, 3rd and 4.
Remember, 3rd and long, they ran the quarterback.
He's
3rd and short, they ran the quarterback.
He's all alone in the backfield again. Well, did Georgia take a timeout? They did.
First charge timeout, Georgia.
Kirby Smart wants to think it over and talk it over with his troops with just over 6 remaining first half.
Adam Zucker, New York. Gators got to take care of business before they can scoreboard watch, but Demarie Crockett has given Missouri a 7-3 lead on Kentucky there in the second quarter. Wildcats have the tiebreaker over the Gators and, of course, host Georgia next week, guys. We head back to Jacksonville, 10-7 game.
That's the only blemish on Florida's record at 6-1. Georgia likewise, both ranked in the top 10 here. 6 minutes remaining first half, 10-7 Dogs. And the Gators with a 3rd and 4. Franks looks right, then left, comes back that way, and incomplete.
He aimed it. It's called pulling the string.
Morrill Stevens, the intended receiver, went to the deck to try to get it and couldn't.
It's a lack of confidence. He just kind of short-armed this one, threw it half speed. You got to gun this in there. And he was short with the throw, and it should have been completed. Should have been a first down. Could have been caught.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
It would have been a tough catch.
So Florida punch for the first time today. Tommy Townsend will kick. And that's Terry Godwin back there. Miko Hardman would have been back there probably at the 10-yard line for Georgia had he not been injured earlier. Another knuckleball kick that's going to sail and take a nice bounce, actually.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yep. Got it down at the 11-yard line. So Georgia finally forces a Florida kick. Talked about both teams being in the top 10. And the last time that happened was in Athens 10 years ago. And there's the guy we just showed you, Tim Tebow, going in for a touchdown. Florida dominated on defense, led by Brandon Spikes and company. Urban Meyer called a couple of timeouts at the end of the game just to get a little revenge from when Georgia ran on the field a year earlier. Florida won it 49-10. Elijah Holyfield for about 5. Seems like every time you give it to number 13, that's what you say, about 5, or maybe breaks a tackle and ends up with 5, 10, 15.
Well, I know Kirby bristled at all of the questions about why didn't you give the ball to Elijah Holyfield, but I think he watched the game too. Okay, you got to protect your team and your play callers and your coaches, but I think he walked into that offensive meeting and said, why didn't 13 and 7 get more carries?
Here's a jet sweep to James Cook, the freshman. And Cook dragged down, but he's going to get the, well, I don't know. He has the first down or not.
Yeah,
very close.
Right at the yellow line.
James is going to be coming right at you.
Good block by Warner to get him around the corner.
Sean Davis got him down.
Yep.
And they might bring the chains out to look at this. They are. We said it was close. They're going to make sure.
You know, interesting the way, again, this Florida defense, can they get the ball back to their offense for one more drive here in the second quarter, because they get the ball to start the third. These end-of-half drives are always so important in football.
And it's that short, about 6 links of the chain. Miko Hardman's back in there. I was just talking about him not being back in punt return formation, and they worked on both his ankle and his foot. He's a resilient guy. He's back out there.
Let's see if they got this spot correct. His knee was down as he was falling forward. I don't see anything that could overturn that call. Watch when his knee goes down. Right there. Was it across the line?
I don't think it's down yet.
Is it down on the ground? Right, it's not down. It's close. I don't think it's too close to overturn. I don't think they have enough evidence.
Let's see if it's Jake Fromm or if it's Brian Herrian. 3rd down and 6 inches. Hardman, they give it to him on a jet sweep, trying to get a big play, and they don't. What a play again by Sean Davis.
Man, that's a gamble that you got to wonder about. You're a genius if it works, and we're all bragging about the great call, but it's a few inches for a 1st down and to control the clock. It's reminiscent of going for the fake field goal against LSU. Yeah, if it works, you're a genius, but if it doesn't, you almost got a sure 1st down if you run the sneak.
Think about Sean Davis, the sophomore out of Miami. He made the stop that brought Cook 6 inches shy of the 1st down, and then he dropped Mecole Hardman on the next play. Kamada's punt. Nice one. Freddie Swain backpedals to the 24. And he's going to go down right about there. Good punt coverage by Georgia. There's a flag down as well.
Man, I don't know if I'd like to call plays. I'll tell you that, because you got to be hitting yourself in the head after that one, because you're going to second guess yourself. If this game doesn't turn out right, you're going to second
During
guess
the
that
kick,
one.
holding receiving team number 33. That penalty being forced from the end of the kick. 1st down.
That's going to back it up close to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and now that puts this in just the opposite end of it. You know, it looked like Florida was going to have great field position, but as you see Reese 33 on the right side of your screen, just a little bit too much. Got that hand under the shoulder pad and had a takedown.
Dragged down Charlie Warner. And so they do spot it right at the 15-yard line.
And I thought that Florida was going to get the ball 30, 35-yard line. Look where it ended up, 15-yard line.
A good punt helped it.
Yes.
And then the penalty certainly hurt them. Just under 4 to go in the half. Franks motions his man. Josh Hammond to the left side. And he'll set the throw right out in the flat to Scarlett. And Scarlett got about 4 out of it. Monty Rice and Tyreek McGee knocked him out of bounds. So 2 tough defenses to score on. Georgia ranked 13th in the country, allowing 16 a game. And the Gators 15th in the country, averaging just under 17 a game. And that's why we got a 10-7 game going so far. Scarlett got a 1st down run.
Well, that changes everything now. For Florida, the play calling, now they're in a comfort zone where they can open up this offense and try to get points here. Before this, they're thinking, we've got to try to take a little clock off and be careful. Now we say, hey, how do we get this ball out to the 50 and then a little farther for the field goal try?
They have 2 timeouts, as do the Dogs. 1st down at the 27. Franks will give it on the ground to Scarlett. Monty Rice has got him wrapped up. He got about 3 on his forward progress before the whistles blow.
You know, one of the statistics that Georgia has not loved about their team this year is they only have 9 sacks.
Yeah.
But if you go back to last year's game against Florida, at this point, they only had 10 sacks into this game. They had 5 in this game and ended up with 24 in the last 8 games. They caught fire in this game. Can that Georgia pass rush catch fire?
DeAndre Walker is their top sack guy. And he's on the top of that defensive line. 2nd down and 7. Emory Jones, again, the other quarterback. And he's short of the 1st down to bring up 3rd down and a long one, maybe 2.
Keep Georgia's defense off balance any way you can. And Wildcat obviously is part of it.
It's all of a yard on 3rd down. Need to get between the 37 and 38-yard line for a 1st down. As you see, we're under 2 minutes in the half. Jones stays in there. It's his run all the way. No, he tried to pitch. Fumbled. He's back on top of it, I think. He is. But it's going to be 4th down. Malik Herring's the guy that hit him.
Both offenses, Georgia on 3rd and short and Florida on 3rd and short, got a little bit cute with their play. And now you got to wonder why Georgia's not stopping the clock.
It's 1:15 and counting down.
I mean, why? You get a 40-second play.
Unless they're coming after the punter. They got everybody up there now. They drop one back. Nicole Hardman is the guy waiting on the other end. They've got the return on. Wow, hit this a mile in the air. Hardman's got to call a fair catch and get everybody out of the way. Bounces around at the 21-yard line. So 50 seconds remaining, and that's all Georgia's got to work, and they still got 2 timeouts, but they probably should have only had 1 timeout at this point. Well, a little bit earlier, we tested your knowledge with the Aflac trivia question, which was 5 Heisman winners have played for these 2 teams. Who's the only player with a losing record in the series? Hill ball coach went 1-2 against Georgia in this series. That's probably why he always has nice things to say about the folks in Georgia.
Yeah, he always loves to do the needle, but the needle goes back. You never forget your days as a player.
Herschel was perfect. Danny Werfel was perfect. Tebow only lost 1. Frankie Sinkwich only lost 1. And Steve went 1-2.
Just remember, this clock could be 40 seconds more. And in college football, the timeouts are more valuable on defense than offense. The clock stops with every first down.
Georgia 3 and out their last 2 drives. And now you wonder, 50 seconds, do they take a couple shots here?
It should have been about 1:30.
Right.
In my mind, I would have used the timeout.
Remember, first downs temporarily stop the clock. The officials right now and the Georgia coaches, everybody, that punt apparently hit our sky cam.
Right, and I think that's, remember you made the call that Miko was going to call take a fair catch. That's why he couldn't catch it. The ball just hit it and dropped.
Our sky cam lost power, and that's part of the reason it was in the way, I guess.
The previous play is under further review. The ball potentially touched the wire.
Well, you know, us people in Florida, we have generators, you know.
You have a generator now.
I have a generator, yes.
After living with me for a week.
Take a look at it, see if we can see it. Oh, it dropped straight down.
Oh, it sure did.
Yes.
It went from a spiral to a knuckleball in a hurry.
Yes.
And Miko's going, hey, I'm sorry. I did all I could. And the punter's going on. What's the ruling on this one?
You know, that's ruining my average.
Because he really blasted that thing. It was a 50-yard punt. It was a 50-yard punt the way it was.
Right there. If you can zoom in on it. Now watch it go straight down when it hits.
Yeah.
Boom. Right down like it's falling out of an airplane. I have no idea what the rule is.
They're going to tell us.
Yeah, I don't know if they do either. They're calling everybody. What do we do here?
Now, I've seen punts hit the scoreboard in the Superdome, having done a lot of Saints games, and that's pretty hard to do too. And I don't.
in Dallas, do they re-kick when they do that? They had to move their scoreboard up because they were hitting it so many times.
Well,
we just got word from the truck.
From Steve Shaw and from Birmingham that if it hits the wire, it's a redo. So we're going to do it all over again.
Well,
Kirby's probably saying, can you give me the other 40 seconds back too, and then let them.
Can I have a chance to call a timeout? How far back can we go?
Yeah, exactly. Can we go back 2 plays instead of 1?
And it was such a great punt by Florida. You know, you hate to even do it. Townsend just nailed that one. And Miko is always dangerous. You kick it to him.
After review, the ball did hit the camera wire. Therefore, we will replay 4th down.
And it should go back to 1:01, right?
Yeah.
1 minute, right there.
1 or 1:01.
Yep.
So they are going to get a little bit back. Don't forget, Geico halftime report is coming up in less than a minute. Houston and Gus and BJ, Adam will all be along with scores and highlights from games earlier.
And they have reset the clock to 1 minute.
On the nose.
Now, They must start it at the snap, I would assume, right?
We're going to find out here in a second.
Because if not, you could run off another 25 seconds. It has to stop on the snap. That's the only fair way of doing it. Yep.
Let's see if Townsend can do what he did the first time.
Wow, he did.
He did. Hardman's got to backpedal to the same spot almost and got out of the way, and he's going to get through the end zone just by a foot. That thing bounced back at the very last. A 71-yard punt, but it was about a foot too long.
I thought it had a chance to hit the wire again, to tell you the truth. It looked almost exactly the same type of punt.
Right there. Tyree Cleveland was the guy that was trying to get down there desperately, number 89, as he trots to the sideline with his punter.
So how risky to get if you're Georgia? Do you go with a screen pass? Do you try to get something positive without taking a lot of risk here with 50 seconds to go?
Remember, they had a great opening drive that got them a field goal, and then after a turnover they got a touchdown, but then it's been punt, punt, punt. 2 timeouts to work, 50 seconds. Need to get a pretty good chunk to even give Blankenship a chance. Fromm's going to throw it short to Nada. Nada up the sideline. Back in the middle of the field, and he's got a big chunk of it out across the 45.
Got to be a bust. You can't play man coverage and not cover one of the receivers.
So the guy we highlighted in the offense for Georgia comes up with a big play and a pickup of 27 for the tight end. Fromm going hurry up. Going to go right back to the same guy, same spot. And out of bounds to stop the clock.
I mean, it looked like the same defense, and you got to guess it was Bashan Joseph that didn't cover him on the play before. So now you get Georgia trying to throw a 5-yard pass, and they get a big play out of it. And all of a sudden, they're in position to get a field goal attempt.
They only need about 10 more yards to give Rodrigo Blankenship a crack at it.
I mean, think about it. You try to throw a 5-yarder, you get 27 yards.
2nd and 4 here, just outside the Gator 46. Fromm looks left now, back across the middle, and got his man. That's Nada. 3 in a row. First down.
Well, this is a little different. You do not see Jake Fromm throw the ball a lot in the middle of the field to the tight end on top of it. And he threaded that one.
23 more. Fromm looking for more. Out in the flat. It's Isaac Nada's show right now. 4 straight to number 18.
He's going to need a blow.
15 seconds left, 2 timeouts. Ball is at the 13-yard line.
Got plenty of time now. Got time for 3 plays if you do it right.
Isaac says, I got to take my helmet off. I'm gassed. He should be. Swift's with Fromm, and Georgia's going to take a
second charge timeout, Florida.
Wow. Great looking drive going for Georgia. Georgia started this drive at their own 20 with 50 seconds left in the half. They've worked it just outside the 13-yard line thanks to that guy. Fromm to Nada, back to back to back to back. 4 catches, 66 yards, all on this drive.
Yeah. Isaac Nada goes from having no line to a nice line and receiving in one drive. Now remember, with the timeout situation and where they are now, they can still run the ball here.
DeAndre Swift is in the backfield with Jake Fromm. On 2nd down and short. Fromm across the middle, got it. Nicole Hardman. Hardman out at the 5. It's 1st and goal.
Still have time for 2 more throws, and you can throw it anywhere on the field because of your timeout situation here. Wait for Miko Hardman to come across and lay it right in there.
1st and goal really doesn't matter. They're 5 yards away from the end zone. And that's what they're hoping for.
And they can call again anything they want. They could go quarterback draw. They can throw it, anything at their fingertips.
Riley Ridley is at the bottom of the screen. Charlie Werner, the tight end, just moved over in the slot on the left. The throw is to Ridley, and it's knocked down. Nice play defensively. C.J. McWilliams, and there's 6 seconds remaining.
Boy, one-on-one. Got a lot of open field to his left. Goes for the jump ball. And McWilliams, if he got both hands on that, could have caught this ball. Kept his left hand on Riley, but could have made it.
6 seconds remaining. And Mullen's going to take a timeout. And the one thing, and Ridley and Jake Fromm having a conversation, the one thing you can't do here is run around and then take a sack or take too much time. So the throw's got to be quick.
Or a quick run. I mean, if you just ran the ball straight ahead, you might push it right into the end zone. That's why Florida has to take a timeout here and go over with the guys that they can run or throw here. If you're Florida's defense, you got to play both.
And it's been quite a 44 seconds, that's for sure. It's just been quite a 5 minutes when you consider the punt hitting our wire on our sky cam.
And remember the MO for this Florida defense and Todd Grantham. He loves to bring pressure in these plays that mean a lot. Here's Todd.
And they're going to bring out Rodrigo right now, I guess. Florida's got a mix-up on their defensive set.
I think Dan Mullen is thrilled, and remember, not taking that timeout earlier have cost them tries for a touchdown here.
This is a 22-yarder. Blankenship hit a 21-yarder earlier in the game. Oop, just got it inside the right upright.
I think Kirby will be upset with going into halftime with 2 timeouts right there and not a chance for a touchdown.
Monday on CBS, a bizarre case leads Magnum to a house of horrors just in time for Halloween. New Magnum PI Monday, 9, 8 Central, only CBS. So there's 2 seconds remaining, and Rodrigo Blankenship is thinking, I don't like taking away all these touchbacks, but I probably should dribble this one somewhere just to burn off the 2 seconds that remains. Which he did. And it's scooped on a hop at the 8-yard line, and time expires as Tony takes a knee. And we head to halftime with Georgia. It's amazing. Their 2 best drives of the day both ended in field goals. They went 75 yards in 7 plays in 48 seconds to get the field goal by Blankenship. And that's where we are at 13-7. For Jamie's halftime interview with Coach Smart, go to Twitter at SEC on CBS. 13-7 Dogs as we head to Adam Zucker and the guys in our New York studio.
All right, thanks, Ness. A close one here, and coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, Gus Malzahn is here with BJ and Houston Nutt. And we'll check on Kentucky as the Wildcats try to keep pace in the East after this word from your local station.
13-7, Georgia, a leader on Florida at the half. Reminder tonight at 7 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Boise State looking to remain in the hunt for another Mountain West championship. They charge into Air Force to battle the Falcons on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Rich Waltz, Steve Berline filling in for Aaron Murray, and Cassie McKinney will bring it to you. I think there's a reason why Aaron Murray is not at that game. And with that, a taste of tradition presented by Sonic. Here's Jamie.
Each year, individuals who have made a significant impact in this rivalry are inducted into the Florida-Georgia Hall of Fame. This year, 4 people were honored. For the Gators, Alex Brown and 2-time national champion Percy Harvin had their names forever memorialized. Boss Bailey and CBS's own Aaron Murray were rewarded for their outstanding achievements for the Dogs. Brad, do you think a future inductee is playing today?
I would be willing to bet that. Congratulations to all those guys. I could put a pretty good football team together with that group. Halftime, Georgia by 6.
Let's go! We're just getting warmed up.
And now here's Fromm dropping back, and he is stopped. And it's intercepted. He short-armed the pass. J.J. Holloman, touchdown. Hurdles over the end zone. He's in.
And just about set to start the third quarter as you look at the St. Johns River above Jacksonville. 13-7. The Dogs at halftime got a late field goal. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. It's funny, 270-yard plus drives for Georgia, both end in field goals. Florida's outrushed them. They've had the time of possession. Still Georgia in front.
2 big stops for that Florida defense. I think you're right on. That's the story of the first half, that Georgia moved the ball, but they did not come up with touchdowns. The other part is, we mentioned that Swift and Holyfield had 13 carries in the first quarter. Only 1 in the second quarter.
And you want them on a pace for 40.
I do. I think everything goes off those 2 guys. I mean, Fromm plays better. The last drive, Florida was conceding some yardage, and then he made the great throw over the middle. But I think you got to start there. And I'm surprised they did not get as many touches in that second quarter, and Georgia struggled.
And Florida's going to get the ball first to start the third. Blankenship will tee it up. He had 2 field goals in the first half, couple of chip shots, 21 and 22 yarders. The only other score from to Holloman for a touchdown. Kadarius Toney and Freddie Swain are back there on the other end as we start the second half. And this one's returnable from the 1-yard line is Toney. Cuts back to the middle. Nice move across the 20. Kadarius Toney got the kicker to beat. Blankenship at least stood him up to get him out of bounds. Great way to start the third quarter.
You know what I really felt on this is Kadarius Toney showed some patience. He just didn't run full speed. He slowed down and then felt it, boom, to his right. He had an angle, and he took the angle, and then he knew he had positive yardage. And, man, to get this ball across the 50-yard line, what a great play. The special teams of Florida have been a weapon for them all year.
As we told you, or I mentioned earlier, there's only been 5 times this year that Rodrigo Blankenship hasn't kicked the ball out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. He would love to have kicked that one a little bit farther, I'll tell you that much. 51-yard return to open the third quarter. First down at the 48. Scarlett. And he bangs his way for about 5 as we check in with Jamie.
Well, I guess when I asked Dan Mullen what spark they needed in the second half, that return answered the question. Dan Mullen said they've executed their game plan to the best of their ability, but the problem has lied in the execution on defense and on the offensive side of the ball. He said this is actually the worst executed game they have played so far this season, and they're still in it. So he said as long as we start clicking, things will work for us.
They're clicking right now to the 42-yard line. And the option, Scarlett on the trailer. He's got the first down.
Yeah, it's an option. It looks like it's almost designed to be a late pitch. It does not feel, he runs the option like I ran the option. Like, when can I get rid of this ball? I'm going, get rid of it, please, please. And then watch the cut right up there, make it a positive north-south run.
Great way for the Gators to start this third quarter, this opening minute. They got it to the Georgia 36. Franks looking at the sideline to Dan Mullen. Now back steps into the shotgun, back up to the line. Doing a little dozy-do here with 6 seconds on the play clock. On first down, Felipe going deep middle. Got his man in stride. It's Swain. Touchdown. The best ball he's thrown all day.
Well, he didn't pull the string on that one, did he?
No.
That was a fastball, and you seen the arm talent that Felipe Franks has. And why he was so highly recruited. He drills it, and he beats the safety on the throw. Watch this throw. Boom! The safety thinks he's got it. It's a fastball right by him.
What a way to open the quarter. Extra point is up and good, and Florida has its first lead of the day. Remember the great kickoff return by Kadarius Toney. Got the Gators in dog land at the 48, and then it just took 3 plays. And Felipe Franks caps it off with his 16th touchdown pass of the season. As Gary said, it was a BB. Gators in front.
Okay. Just hang with me.
Game trends, well, the trend just changed in 3 plays. Let me tell you that right now. Felipe, last drive, threw that rocket at 36 yards for the touchdown. Third down conversions today. You see how they've done. But the complexion of the entire game in a minute and 25 seconds changed. Tony's kickoff return and then a 3-play drive for the score. Now Georgia will try to bring one out of the end zone. Mecole Hardman. Hardman across the 20 and out to the 28-yard line.
Watch the lookout by Felipe Franks to stop. His eyes go left to hold this safety because he knows he wants to go to the middle of the field. If this looks similar, it's the same coverage that Georgia was in when Tua threw that strike to beat him. It was quarter, half field coverage. He held the safety to his left this time when Tua looked to his right, the opposite side of the field on the same coverage.
And he put so much mustard on it that Richard LeCount couldn't get a hand on it back there in the middle of the field, and thus the Gators by 1. Elijah Holyfield plowing his way, still on his feet, got out almost 8 yards.
Don't really understand why he doesn't get the ball more. I really don't.
Well, for Elijah, that's going to be his 9th carry.
I mean, I played a lot of years with a guy named Billy Sims. He didn't get tired until he had the ball 35 times.
There's the running back comparison so far today. So they've got 15 rushes between them. And Gary said in the opening, again, we mentioned it at halftime, Georgia would be in good shape if those two guys totaled it about 40 times. Here comes Holyfield again. First down, out to the 44. 5'11", 215-pound junior out of College Park. You saw earlier his daddy's here, 4-time heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield, here for the festivities. Evander might have been the first guy in the stands today. I think we were sitting there going, there's the champ. There's the champ. He was here early. Didn't even want to miss warm-ups. First down. Holloman in motion. Holyfield up the gut for 2 or 3. David Reese in on the stop for Florida.
Just an update on Andrew Thomas, number 71, who left the game with that ankle injury. It is Kendall Baker that is in there at left tackle, number 65. We didn't know if Cade Mays, the true freshman, was going to go over there, but they moved Kendall Baker to that left tackle spot here for Georgia.
Jamie's got more, I think.
Yeah, and Benjamin Cleveland is actually dressed for this game. This is the first time he's been available to that offensive line, but the team is telling me they'd be surprised if he could go in.
Fromm's got a man wide open. It's the other tight end, Charlie Warner. Down close to the 20.
Yeah, Bus. Nice play call, nice design. Perfect. You think you're going to go to the quick screen to the outside. The tight end goes up the field. The Georgia players both bite, and you got to give me to the outside. And this time, Fromm does not miss it like he did in that game against LSU.
35-yard pickup. Now it's out in the flats to DeAndre Swift. Spins his way to about the 16.
You know, Brad, as we watch this, we've seen no Justin Fields. It does it not appear that Jake Fromm's more comfortable in this game?
Yep.
He just seems to be more himself. I mean, everybody talks about it's no big deal getting taken out, but it does.
Swift trying to get to the edge. Stiff arm, not quite. Nice job defensively by Jawan Taylor. To go back to your point, maybe he's not looking over his shoulder, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I just think he looks calmer in this game. They're not counting on him to do everything. That last drive before the half, he started off very simple and then made the great throw over the middle to Nauta.
Nauta caught 4 in that drive. Werner, the other tight end, had the big gainer to get them where they are. And now Holyfield back in.
Can Florida force another field goal?
Thinking about a blitz. Here they come. Fromm calmly throws. Holloman touchdown. Wow. Second of the day from number 11 to number 9. You can't throw a fade much better than that.
Remember at the end of the half, he missed Ridley on a fade. He threw it a little short. This time he did. He had Holloman to the outside. C.J. McWilliams, you can't cover it any better than that. Perfect execution by Georgia.
Chick-fil-A pylon cam. Kind of a combination fade and back shoulder throw.
You know, when I was watching in warm-ups, they were practicing grabbing that ball high and ripping it away from the defender, and it's exactly what he did.
And Rodriguez rips the extra point. Georgia, 3-minute drive, 72 yards. Jake Fromm, as Gary said, looking calm, cool, and collected. Can't do it much better than that. Second one to number 9 today, and Georgia is back in front. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Chick-fil-A, Smile Direct Club, Allstate, and by Bud Light.
That's what you do if you're not a football fan today for the 97th edition of Florida and Georgia. Fromm to Holloman twice today. The last one capped 72-yard drive in 3 minutes and 2 seconds. And what an opening 4.5 minutes we had, partner.
Both sides have got the execution in the offense. As Dan Mullen told Jamie, the plays are there. We haven't executed them. I think that's exactly what's happened in that first half. Maybe both teams a little tight, how important this game was.
I think Blankenship will try to kick this one into the St. Johns River after what happened to the last one.
Or maybe the guys covering will say he might not get it in the river.
Yeah, he got all of this one.
Let's go look one more time on the technique by Jeremiah Holloman, number 9, against C.J. McMillan. Watch him snatch the ball and then rip the ball. You don't want to bring it down to the cornerback. They practice it all the time. I thought a year ago, Jake Fromm was really comfortable with the Javon Wims toward the end of the year, catching those balls. But Holloman now is that guy.
2 touchdowns today. 4 on the season, and it's given Georgia the lead back. So now the Gators, let's see what they have for an answer. Starting at their own 25, Pirine in the backfield with Felipe Franks. High snap, got the handoff to Pirine. He ain't got about a yard, that's about it. Natrez Patrick is in the middle of that mob somewhere. He was one of the first guys to make contact. Dan Mullen has dialed up some interesting stuff today again. We saw some trick plays against LSU when we had him earlier this season. The option he's used again effectively today with Franks on the pitch. 2nd and 9. Pirine made one man miss, and now he goes for a first down. Good run. Looked like they were going to stop him after about a yard gain, and he just planted his foot and kept on moving.
And what Florida did is go to their strength. They went after those big guys on that offensive line, Ivy, Jordan to the left side, and they just powered it for a first down. You know who's been really quiet in this game? DeAndre Baker, the shutdown corner. When the corner's name is not mentioned, he's doing a job.
First down again on the ground, Pirine. And again, he got about 4 out of nothing. Monty Rice, who was a leading tackler for Georgia in the first half, with 8, and he's got another one here.
See, this is what you're almost taking half the field away. When you play any of the combo coverages, you can do that because of what Baker does. It was a great throw by Felipe Franks that beat the defense.
And here is the option on the pitch. The trailer to Pirine, and Georgia snipped it out this time. DeAndre Walker made first contact and got help from the rest of his dog friends.
And he did the great job. That's the athleticism of those outside linebacker / defensive ends. When you can force the pitch and then go make the play. Again, though, that's not Navy Georgia Tech option. And I think Walker had seen it enough that he said, I'm going to fake and I'm going to go get the pitch this time.
Big 3rd down and 8 here. Neither team's been stopped this quarter.
Can the Georgia pass rush get to the quarterback?
Franks out in the flat. The pass is complete, but there's a lot of red jerseys there, and Cleveland's going nowhere. Punting time for the Gators.
You drop back and you triangulate. When the back catches the ball short of the first down, you got to know where your help is. Watch Jawan Taylor. He knows where his help is on the play. When the ball is caught, he stays inside, forces him to his help, and then makes the play. Beautiful job. He didn't overrun it. He broke down and then broke down and make the play.
Triangulate. I like that. Yeah, that's a good one. Hardman back. Tommy Townsend to punt. He had a 71-yarder earlier, and he had one that hit our scout cam wire. This one might actually be returnable. Hardman from the 21. Little stutter step, and then straight up the middle. Nicole Hardman still going out to the 45-yard line. About 25 on the return. Even though the foot and the ankle were a little sore earlier, nothing wrong with him there. Georgia by 6. Let's take a look at the GMC game changer, the one that changed the scoreboard a few moments ago. Jake Fromm, second touchdown pass of the day to Jeremiah Holloman. And the other one, a 12-yarder. That was the 16-yarder in the first half. The previous was a 12-yarder that changed the scoreboard. So those two guys have hooked up both times on third down. And two beautiful throws from Jake Fromm, who's having a heck of a lot better day than a couple of weeks ago against LSU.
Sure is. He seems to have his confidence stepping into those throws. Remember, that also sticks up here. This Florida secondary is playing shorthanded now with C.J. Henderson down. That means both projected starting corners for Florida, C.J. Henderson and Marco Wilson, are off the field. They're going with the true freshman, number 21, and number 12, C.J. McLaurin.
Georgia with a first down.
Do they pound here, or do they go for the big play?
You want to take a shot?
I think they pound.
Swift is in the backfield. Fromm pump fakes and goes deep and over the head of everybody. Out of bounds. Incomplete. That's only his fourth incompletion of the day.
Yeah, it wasn't that tricky, was it?
No.
They did go after the freshman, though, number 21, Trey Dean.
Trey Dean, a Georgia native out of Hampton.
So now, can Georgia get it back to third and medium? That's the goal here. You got to win first and second down. You can win it on first, or you can win it on second.
It's DeAndre Swift, and he got it to third and about 4.
There you go. You take a shot on first down, and then you get it into manageable position, very similar to an NFL-style game here. You're not quite sure you can handle the pass rush, so you make sure that your quarterback doesn't get in the third and long.
It's third down. And a long 4 here. 3 out of 7 for Georgia so far today. The tight end, Nana, has been his favorite target, is in the slot group of 3 receivers to the right. Here comes a speed rush. Fromm is going to run it. And he's got a lot of green in front of him. Jake does a slide at about the 37 with a Georgia first down.
Wow. He must have played baseball, because that was a nice pop-up slide right there.
He's a great baseball player.
Yes, coming into second base. Man-to-man coverage, combo man-to-man. He knows it. Get the first down, pop-up slide.
Fromm now pops up and throws over the middle, and it's Nada again for the 5th time to the 31.
But you can feel that Florida is not comfortable. They're not blitzing. And Georgia's going tempo right at him now.
And that's what Jake Fromm loves to do. He's back to throw again. Lofts one. Nada's got another. Flags are down. Nada bumped out of bounds inside the 10 around the 7.
Did he push off Jawan Taylor, number 29? That's the question. Let's watch it. Ooh. Yep, just a left forehand.
Pass interference, offense, number 18. That's a 15-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Tell you who would have liked that one, Evander Holyfield.
Yes,
that was a pretty good left.
left cross right there, wasn't it?
So that negates a big play.
I don't even know if he needed it either, because he was going full speed and Taylor was stopped dead. That would have been a completion had he not even pushed off.
So, boy, what a difference. It was down around the 7-yard line. With the penalty, it comes back to the 46. Second down and 18.
I don't know why the Georgia fans are arguing with that. That was an easy call. And that was coming from the red side at the replay.
Elijah Holyfield back in the backfield with Fromm. Gets a delayed handoff and tripped up. Nice job by Bashan Joseph to hold on just enough to get him to stumble.
And what ability he has. Watch Joseph. He baits the blitz. Okay, he's looking to the side here, but he blitz. He's coming after the quarterback. But watch how he changes. Whoops. He looks at the ball and makes the tackle. So he's got quarterback, make the tackle.
And this is where Georgia didn't want to be. 3rd down and 18. As you know that Polite and Zuniga and Jefferson and those guys are going to be coming. That's Werner, the tight end, that'll settle in on the right side. He's going to help with the blocking. The throw is going to be a screen to DeAndre Swift. Nice cut back to the middle. And Swift got a big chunk of it back and got it into Rodrigo Blankenship's range, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be, what, 54, 5 yards, right? 53-yarder?
He's got a 53-yarder this year against Vandy. His career long's 55 against Oklahoma in the playoffs.
They're going
to kick it.
Yep.
Camarda's had a hard time dropping punts inside the 10 this year. The freshman has got a big leg. Sometimes isn't quite sure where it's going.
And Dan Mullen took a timeout because Florida was not aligned with the eligible receivers that were in the game for Georgia.
So 4:19 remaining, 3rd quarter. Georgia with a lead here in Jacksonville.
You're talking about 2 great traditions.
Beating Alabama is why you come to LSU.
It's like one of those things that you see in movies or you see in TV shows.
It's intimidating, and it's home.
There's your guy. It's home. That'll be home. Baton Rouge next week. 8 o'clock right here.
Yeah.
Gary, Jamie, and I and our crew will be there, and that will be something to watch. Top 5 matchup, first time in 6 years.
Yeah, don't schedule anything for Saturday.
No.
Stay home, watch again. It's worth it.
So Georgia will punt. They thought about a possible field goal. Let's see if Camarda keeps it in the field of play. Boy, did he ever. Miko Hardman at the 1.
Miko went to the exact spot where the ball went. How did he know that? I'm going to go 4 yards outside the hash, and the ball bounded right to him.
A lot of people say, why do you play your superstars on special teams? That's why you do it.
Man.
Perfect job by the freshman punter.
Well, we questioned some of Kirby's decisions in the first half, whether he should have called a timeout, maybe should have ran the running backs more, but you can't question that decision, getting the ball inside the 1-yard line now for the Florida Gators.
Georgia's got to get lined up. Florida's ready to go, and Georgia's still running around on defense. Franks in the end zone. Now everybody's set. Scarlett with Franks in the backfield. It's going to be Franks to just try to get him a little room. That ball came out. Georgia's got it. Touchdown. Trey Crowder. It might be down to the 1.
He bounced over, I think. NFL, it's a touchdown for sure, but when he catches it, I think his elbows are on the ground.
Rolling on the field is a fumble recovered by Georgia. First down.
Now we got to see if Frank's knees were on the ground or his elbows before the fumble. The last time, let's see if we can see Frank's. Does it come out late?
On its way out with his rear end hit, don't you think?
Yes, I think the ball was kicked out of his hand before he hit. The ball is loose. That is going to go down, and it was ripped out by Tyreek McGee.
Didn't Tyreek have the other forced fumble in the first half? I think so. The one that LeCount recovered.
I think that's going to stand.
Oh, Tyreek McGee had the interception, beg your pardon, in the first half.
Well, both of them were for Felipe Franks, though.
Yep. He's not going to want to see number 26 when he watches a film of this.
So last week, in the Tennessee-Alabama game, Tennessee's backed up, and the quarterback gets stepped on for a safety.
Right. Yep.
This time you go shotgun so you don't get stepped on, and what do? You fumble the ball. And for me, it was called a fumble. I don't see anything to overturn that. I do not think he's down. I think he's down at the 1, Georgia ball.
Here's another shot.
And that's Jordan Davis, number 99, who's getting a lot more playing time for Georgia, the true freshman.
You know, Franks almost never was down. He landed on his own player's back legs.
Think about the big number 99, Jordan Davis, who we've been watching all game. The first 2 games of the year for Georgia, he didn't even travel.
Right.
He was a scout team player. He's lost some weight, and he's plugged up the middle of that run game defense
After
for Georgia.
review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Georgia.
Again, you try to do everything right. You stop the drive, you get the penalty, you force the punt, and Georgia gets the ball at the 1.
First and goal as the Georgia defense hands another gift to their offense. Holyfield is the tailback in the eye. Werner in motion. Holyfield, second man through, doesn't get there. Nice job by Florida. Huggins and Reese and Zuniga flag down.
I think he got a little bit quick that time. Is Zuniga really that fast? Oh, was it in the middle? I think maybe Joseph was in the neutral zone at the snap.
Offside on the defense. Half the distance. First down.
Kind of worth the gamble.
You're right, Gary. It was Joseph.
Yep. He was doing that. He's been trying to time out those plays all game. It's worth the gamble right there. If you can make a negative play, you can back them up.
Georgia, the length of the football away from the Florida end zone. As you look above Fromm on Holyfield and company. Elijah Holyfield, and he's not going to get it this time either. Boy, nice job.
Wow. Zuniga is so quick around that course, like coming in for a field goal block. He did it last time, too. Watch him come from the left side of your screen and catch this play from behind. Amazing quickness off the edge.
Nothing gained there. Now DeAndre Swift comes in. Holyfield comes out. Second and goal.
Holyfield was lined up so deep that it allowed Zuniga to get there.
Now they got Werner and Luke Ford. And now Werner clears out to the left. That's probably where the pitch is going. It's DeAndre Swift. The cutback, and he's hammered.
Man.
Wow, what a stop by Florida. Back-to-back plays.
Pitch. Play 101 for Georgia. It's their staple. And it's stopped.
Ankrum and Joseph, the two guys that got to him, and that's third and goal. And Georgia is going in the wrong direction. They're still very close to the end zone, but now do they have to throw it? Just outside the 2.
We got that matchup at the bottom of the screen.
Fromm throws, same spot, and this time knocked away. Trying to go to number 9 for the third time.
Flags out, Williams. Flags out.
I didn't see the flag, so they're going to get another shot.
It came out late. From the
pass interference, defense, number 12, half the distance, automatic, first down.
Talk about a killer. You have two great run stops, and then that happens.
And remember, you've just been beaten for a fade on a back shoulder throw.
Oh, yeah, he's got jersey and everything. From our pylon cam, trying to go to Holloman for the third time today.
Boy, that's a tough call. He must have had it right under his collar a little bit, but the back judge, I don't even know how he saw that. He was behind that play.
So Georgia's
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Florida coach. half the distance. It will be first down. That is Florida's coach. First unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Okay, Dan can't get another one. He'll be in the locker room watching the rest of the game. At any rate, he maybe felt it was worth a foot.
Yes, exactly. And I would have bet that one would have been on Todd Grantham, so I would have been wrong on that one.
At any rate, first and goal for Georgia following the fumble recovery a couple of minutes ago. They've got it at the 1-yard line. Holyfield behind his fullback, but it's Fromm trying to do it himself. Did he get enough push? Everybody's pushing in there, and he's short. So that's 3 run stops out of the last 4 plays for the Gators.
It's amazing. And remember, the size of this Georgia offensive line is gigantic. One of the biggest offensive lines in college football, and they cannot move that Gator front.
Franks had a touchdown over the top earlier. Fromm tried to bulldoze his way and couldn't get there. Second down and goal.
They've gone left every play.
Fromm again, trying to backpedal. I think he got it this time. No signal yet.
No. If you were an official, wouldn't you make him earn this touchdown? I got to see the guy in the end zone before I give him a touchdown on the play.
I'm still looking for 11 to get up. There he is.
Well, one thing they're doing, taking time off the clock.
That's for sure. I thought right there he was going to have to fall down, but Florida wouldn't let him.
Yep.
Well, this has been something. We're down to a minute and change in the third quarter. Third and goal. Holyfield. No! Didn't get there.
Saninga again from the backside, but tell you that, he got there because there was no push up the middle.
Now what do you do?
Come on, this is legendary defense here now.
Wow, that's something.
7 plays. This is legendary. If Florida can get back in this game, this will be talked about.
This drive started at the 1. It's now at the 1.5.
Unbelievable. And there was 2 penalties on top of it.
Blankenship. This is closer than an extra point. And it's up and perfect.
And Kirby, I knew your competitive instincts, if you're Kirby, you cannot want to kick that field goal, but you have no choice. You have to make it a 9-point game.
Tomorrow, meet the whistleblower who copied hundreds of incriminating documents from a bishop's secret archive. Find out what's in them. Plus, who's Yap? See and hear him only on 60 Minutes tomorrow. Boy, they'll be yapping about that goal line stand for a while, I think, in this series.
And think about it. Georgia's been down there 3 times, but not like this. That's a drive line you won't see ever again.
6 plays, no yards, 4 minutes, and a field goal. I don't think we've had one of those together before.
4-minute drive for -1 yard. 3 penalties also in that drive, all against Florida.
We got about 1 play left in the third quarter here in Jacksonville at TIAA Bank Field.
Dan Mullen was still very animated with the officials after the series, and it looked like he was complaining still about the fumble, about how the ball was ripped out from Felipe Franks. Not sure what he was arguing about. Be curious to find out after the game what it was about.
We had about half the officiating crew over there, not just the referee. So Florida now from the 25. Jordan Scarlett stood up at the line of scrimmage. Tay Crowder and Monty Rice and our other group of Bulldogs in on the stop as the third quarter does come to a close. We're going to have a great 15 more minutes. Don't go anywhere. Into 3, 23-14 Georgia. We'll return to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. These two guys have met a lot as assistant coaches. First matchup between the two as head coaches, and it has been a battle for 3 quarters. Set to start the 4th in Jacksonville. Georgia by 9. And the Gators with a 2nd and 10. Franks rolls to his right, looking to throw. Now he's going to tuck it and keep it. He's got a lot of green out there and picked up almost 20. So first down for Florida to start the 4th quarter, and that's just what they want to do. We've had a little bit of everything in this one, haven't we?
Unbelievable. It's not for the faint of heart out there. You better bring it because the other guys bring it. I just love this ball. I like passing, but I love what I just saw. Both teams give it an area.
Goal line stand by Florida was remarkable to keep it a 9-point game right now, as we're going to have an exciting 4th quarter. Franks, after that long run, gets a breather, and Emory Jones, who's played several snaps today, comes in at quarterback for the Gators with a first down at the 45. Fakes a throw and then runs it all the way, upended after a pickup of 7. We mentioned Emory, a Georgia native out of LaGrange, the true freshman, and he stays in for another snap.
You don't see this a lot. A quarterback gains 20 yards, so they bring in the running quarterback on the next play.
Well, he's getting some valuable experience, I'll tell you. This is a big game.
Yeah, but is Georgia going to believe that he will throw the ball?
They don't have to here on 2nd down and 3. He's got 2 backs with him. And he is going to throw. And he's going long. And he's got a man out there.
Interference.
Broken up. The flag comes out. The pass to Van Jefferson, and it was going to be on target.
Yep. How about a play? That's what we've been calling for Justin Fields to do for Georgia, is keep him honest. And I think this is a great play by Tyson Campbell, number 3.
Pass interference. Defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty. Automatic.
It's going to be a touchdown. And in college football, it's only a 15-yard penalty. It's a great penalty by the young player.
So instead of down there at the 1 like the NFL, it's at the 32 after the walkout. But another first down, and now Felipe Franks comes back in to run the show. He's got 3 receivers down to the bottom of your screen. One of them coming in motion, and he's going to flip it out to Kadarius Toney. Toney puts the brakes on, but Georgia puts the brakes on him. J.R. Reed, the first guy there.
Yeah, get me once. Okay, good for you. Second time, I'm a veteran. And J.R. Reed does not miss these type of tackles. Comes up and wraps up.
So no gain on the play. Back, he lost a yard. 2nd down and 11. 2 minutes into the 4th quarter. Play clock winds down to 4 at the snap. It's Franks on a run all the way, and he's tripped up by Jawan Taylor.
Both teams with the basic same game plan. If first down doesn't work, get half of it on 2nd down.
3rd down and 8. Biggest 3rd down of the day for the Gators is at hand.
Again, can Georgia get that pass rush? They have not been able to pressure the quarterback.
Gators have 2 tight ends in there.
Remember, a field goal is huge for Florida. Will they even try to throw?
They won't. Perine, nice game, and that'll set up the field goal attempts, we assume, at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, you got to go for it. You might not have a great kicker, but you got to trust him here, I think. It's 4th and 2 long.
Here he comes.
I saw Tebow was here, but he's not in a Gator uniform today.
Evan McPherson, the freshman out of Fort Payne, Alabama. 11 of 12 on the year with as long as 48. This will be a 42-yard field goal attempt to try to make it a 1-possession game. McPherson's 42-yarder is good. Big kick and a flag down.
It's a big call either direction.
Sure is. If it's a walk-off against Georgia, it's a first down.
Yep, fourth.
If it's against Florida, it's going to make the kick a lot harder.
They wonder if it would be post-kick as the third option.
Came in a weird spot, too.
The ruling on the field is the field goal is good. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Georgia, number 52.
So it's a post-kick foul, so the points stay. The penalty will be coming up. Now it's time for our ExxonMobil game recap between two top 10 teams here in Jacksonville. Things went haywire on a first down run by Scarlett. Monty Rice forced a fumble. Richie LeCount picked it up, took it back to the 13-yard line. Jake Fromm says, I'll do the rest from there to Holloman for the touchdown. That gave Georgia a 10-0 lead. But a good-looking drive by the Gators, 76 yards, capped by a 1 yard over the top by Felipe Franks, made it 10-7. Franks, the next time he got his hands on it here in this half, a dart to Freddie Swain. And the game was getting closer. Jake Fromm says, I like number 9. I'm going there again. That one's good for the Georgia touchdown. And then the fumble by Franks. A great goal line stand by Florida, and Georgia only got a field goal out of all those plays, 6 of them. They did get the field goal, though, to take a 9-point lead, but just moments ago, field goal by McPherson from 42 has made it 23-17, and that's where we are right now. Our aerial coverage by State Farm, here to help life go right. One possession game, 11-12 remaining.
I think both coaches love the pace of this game. They're both at around 48, 49 plays. How is Florida in this game? 3 turnovers. Yeah. The reason they're in this game, basically 3 times Georgia's been in the red zone scoring zone and have not been able to get touchdowns. That's why Florida's still in the game.
And now with the unsportsmanlike conduct, the kick's going to come from near midfield, basically, and you would assume Georgia's not going to get any kind of return.
I always wonder here if you have a play for this. You know, they have a play for everything. Do you have a like a pooch onside kick?
I was going to say, got a different kicker in there right now, Jorge Powell. And it is just kind of a jump ball, but a fair catch taken for it. The 11 puts it at the 25.
Yep, the new rule.
So they didn't gain much out of that, but it was worth a try, I guess. Don't forget, later in the game, play of the game, presented by Napa Auto Parts. That might come down to who's in front at the end, because we still got 11 minutes of football.
Think about the dilemma if you're Jim Chaney now calling plays for Georgia. You have not been able to run the ball against the Florida. There's Jim looking right at you right there. And remember, Florida has both their corners, their starting corners, out of the game at the start. So what do? Do you go run it and pound, or do you try to attack the edge?
On first down, it's a play fake bootleg. Fromm comes up slinging it, and he's got it complete. And it's Riley Ridley, and a first down for the Dogs.
And when you look at it, and Chaney's looking at the same thing we are, they started out running the ball very effectively, but sent 64 yards in the first quarter. They've only had 54 yards since. And that's why you see Chaney says, I'm not going to look at 6 plays going up the middle against these guys again.
Now they've got it just on their side of the 40.
And Jim Chaney's decided to put this game in Jake Fromm's hands.
And Elijah Holyfield in this case, who didn't get anything.
Come on, 92 again?
I'm starting to draft him right now. He's out of Marietta, Georgia.
My goodness. On the goal line, he made all those plays, and he comes around the edge again and makes the Holyfield's going. Could somebody please block number 92?
Just chip him a little bit.
Just look that guy right there. Yeah, well, I think I blocked that guy.
Yeah. He actually lost about a half yard, so we'll call it 2nd and 11. Gator fans hoping their team can get a stop and put it back in the hands of their offense. Fromm in the gun here. Gonna flip it out, and it's knocked down by Jeremiah Moon. All 6 of it. And now Georgia's where they didn't want to be. 3rd and 11. Ooh, that was dangerous.
Yeah, not much you could do. You're on the edge blocker there. You're Kendall Baker. You're saying, you know, I got to keep him off the edge, and all of a sudden you throw his angle, and he knocks it down. 3rd and long.
Looking left the whole way, fires that way, and he's got his man. It's complete to Holloman again. That's been his big play guy when he hasn't been throwing to his tight end on it.
I tell you, you got to think of the irony here about Jake Fromm. Okay, as he drops back. For 2 weeks, he's been hearing about his poor game and the fact that they should let Justin Fields play. And look at it right now. He's the guy that has to win it for him.
The throw, that one knocked out. Had his hands on it, Holloman did, but nice job of fighting it. C.J. Williams popped it out of there.
And now as they get closer to field goal range, 3rd and Grantham, even though it's 2nd down, his MO is he brings guys after the quarterback. If I was calling plays for Georgia, I would expect Florida to bring some people. There's Todd right there.
DeAndre Swift in the backfield with Fromm. They need to get to the 36-yard line for a 1st down. They keep it on the ground. The Swift puts his foot in the ground into the secondary.
Man.
1st down, Georgia.
You called it, Ness. He got to the 2nd level, and he made that one cut. He had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on him, but he got to the 2nd level and beat Donovan Steiner.
Double pump, Fromm throws, knocked down. Incomplete. Sean Davis had a good game today. Got his hands on that one.
Yeah, not a good route that time by Warner. He faded away from the throw. He's got to go flat, or that defensive back will cut underneath you and have the potential interception.
We're down to 9:25 to go. Even if Georgia could only get a field goal, they would make it a 2-possession situation again. But right now they're thinking more at the 25 of the Gators. Holyfield. He's trying, but they're not letting him. Got a yard. Polite. Mekhi Polite.
It is an interesting call. Field goal range, as Brad told you, makes it a 9-point game here. Remember when Kirby was down there at the end of the half. He had 6 seconds, and he said, no, I'm not going to gamble. I want 3 points. I wonder if he sticks to that thinking.
Yeah, he's going to have some extra time to think about it because one of his guys is down. It's either Baker or it is Kendall Baker. We'll check out him when we come back.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Royal Caribbean, Sonic, Progressive Insurance, and by Wheels Up.
Nighttime setting in on the St. Johns River as the big fella Kendall Baker walking off under his own power.
Yeah, and remember, he is in because Andrew Thomas was nicked. It looks like Andrew Thomas, 71, is going to go back on the field at left tackle. I wouldn't suspect that he's 100%. So, again, the play caller has to put that in his head as he's calling. If you throw it, Jake, you got to throw it fast. We can't ask Andrew to do something he's not healthy enough to do.
Not with Zuniga and Polite and Jefferson and those guys beating down on you. And Jake's all alone in the backfield. Check that. Swift comes to join him. All 3 receivers to the right. 3rd down and 9. Fromm fires. Caught. Touchdown. Terry Godwin. Again on 3rd down for the 3rd time. From a touchdown throw on 3rd and long.
I mean, and this isn't even a good throw. This is a great throw. Godwin gets on the safety and breaks out, and it is a strike.
That's pretty. Georgia's going to go for 2.
What a throw. You just can't do it any better than that.
All three of his touchdown throws today have been
perfect.
Let's see if he's got a two-point conversion in him. Swift, flank to his left. They flip it to Crumpton, and he's dropped.
Yeah.
Nice job by Ja'Kai Polite.
I think after this game, George is going to say, we can't get too close. That's our problem.
8:39 remaining. Georgia goes 75 yards in 9 plays in 2.5 minutes. And the strike to the veteran Terry Godwin. Touchdown, Dogs. Coming up after our game, stay tuned for the CBS Sports College Football Postgame Show presented by Capital One. Zook and the guys will have it all for you. Feel good for Terry Godwin, banged up, the senior out of Hogansville, Georgia, and finally healthy, and a huge catch for the touchdown. Tom Grantham's letting his defense have it over there on the sideline.
Yep.
So back to a 2-possession situation.
He made his name for himself in 3rd down Grantham, and he got bit.
Blankenship's kick will sail almost out of the back of the end zone, so Florida starts from the 25, and now they have an uphill battle.
Yes, let's go back to the last of the touchdown. Watch this. Left tackle in the game, Charlie Warner, tight end in, and Isaiah Wilson on the opposite side. 3 guys do their job on this play. Warner handles C.C. Jefferson. The injured left tackle Thomas and Isaiah Wilson all take that Florida pass rush and neutralize it, and allows that touchdown.
3 on the day, 16 on the year now for Jake Fromm. And now Felipe Franks knows that he's got some ground to make up and not that much time to do it. Stands tall, got hammered as he let the ball go. Incomplete, no flags. Jonathan Ledbetter gave him one after he let go of the ball.
And that's the first time I think I can remember they've gone after number 18, DeAndre Baker. And as the All-American, you see the hit that Felipe took.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you want to play quarterback?
Yeah, I remember that. They pay you well, but you pay for it sometimes.
Still not 100 yards passing for Franks. He had that one beauty to Freddie Swain. He needs a few more of them. Fake the draw play. He still got it, and he's got to throw it away. Great play fake. Had Georgia kind of on their heels, but nobody open. And DeAndre Walker got some late pressure for Georgia.
I think he wanted to go back over here and watch number 18 try to get away. Nothing there. Nobody to throw to, and he has to get rid of the football.
And now the Georgia fans all fired up about a 3rd and 10.
8 minutes to go. Do you get it close enough where you would even think about 4-down territory? I think it's too early yet.
5-receiver group for Franks, who's all alone in the backfield. But he needs a full 10. Oops, and then that's going to be 3rd and 15. Jawan Taylor came out of his stance.
False start. Offense, 65. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They're making it hard on themselves.
The right side of your screen, right here. Yep. Backing up.
Third down at 15.
Remember, with this noise, the tackles have to look in and see the ball. They can't see it. Big disadvantage here.
Quick throw out in the flats. Incomplete, in and out of the hands. Cleveland was thinking about where he was going to run, and he forgot to take the mail with him. 4th down.
Just don't have the confidence in your passing game in one play to lose the game. You throw it out here to the side. If you get 5 or 6 yards, you live with it. 3rd and 15, you just don't have the confidence in your quarterback to throw that ball down the middle to pick up a 1st down.
And the chants of UGA reverberating around the stadium here in Jacksonville. Townsend to punt. Nico Hardman backpedals, takes a fair catch around the 33 or 34-yard line. And that's where Georgia's got it with a 12-point cushion and only 8:13 to go. 8:13 to put themselves in the driver's seat to control their own destiny in the East. Coming up Monday on CBS, Cedric the Entertainer and Max Greenfield lead an all-star cast in the outrageous new comedy The Neighborhood. That's my new favorite. New episode Monday at 8, 7 Central. Only CBS. As the sun goes down in Jacksonville, is the sun going down in Florida's chances in the SEC East? There's where it is right now. Kentucky, we understand, is losing to Missouri with about 14 to play in the fourth quarter. Georgia has Kentucky next week. If they beat Florida and they beat Kentucky, I know where they're going to be first week of December.
You got it. So what does staying aggressive now mean for Georgia? Because if you get a 3-play first down, you could take off 3.5 minutes off this clock. Okay, so every first down, you could take 3 to 4 minutes off the clock. Can they pound it and make first downs?
DeAndre Swift will take the first crack at it. And he goes for about 4. So there goes another 40 seconds. They play it right.
Or at least force Florida to use their timeouts.
Of which they have 2 remaining.
And again, you should manage this under 5 seconds before you snap that ball on the play clock.
And though he's only a sophomore, Jake Fromm, every coach will tell you, is a master of thinking about what's coming up and controlling the game.
Yeah. And you know what else he brought today? Besides thinking, he brought his arm today.
He sure did.
Jeez.
3 touchdown passes and no interceptions.
Beautiful.
Down to 4 on the play clock and the snap, and it's Jake that's going to try to keep it himself. Got a couple more, and it's 3rd down and 4. But again, the clock is the enemy of the Gators.
Yeah, and the Gator defense has to feel good about stopping the Georgia running game right now. Okay, they had the big run by Swift, but in these short yardage situations, the Gator defense has been tough to penetrate.
The receivers are Simmons and Ridley and Hardman. 2 guys in the backfield, both Brian Herrien and Elijah Holyfield, flanking Jake Fromm on a 3rd and 4. Fromm fires, and there's the first down, and it's Riley Ridley. He puts the brakes on and heads downfield. Big throw and catch. Fromm to Ridley, and Georgia's back in Florida territory with 6:41 to go.
Like his brother, Calvin Ridley, this is a perfect route. This is a professional stop route. You call it a lock comeback against man-to-man press coverage. And I'll tell you, C.J. McWilliams is going, why me?
Georgia just taking its time. Everybody up at the line of scrimmage, not wasting time in a huddle. Watching that clock work down and then waiting for number 11 to call the signal when to go or clap his hands. Right there. Elijah Holyfield blasts his way. It looked like it was going to be a 2-yard pickup, and it's about 5. Adam Zucker, our New York studio. It's got a Zaxby's update. Zuck.
Hey, Ness. Yeah, you guys showed Kentucky only had 3 points a couple minutes ago. That offense really struggling. Gunnar Hoke in at quarterback for Terry Wilson. 3rd and 23, almost gets intercepted. It was out of bounds. Wildcats are 1 for 10 on 3rd down, losing 14-3 right now, under 12 to go. Georgia, Kentucky next week.
Georgia right now in the driver's seat here in Jacksonville. With 5.5 to go, 2nd down and 5. And again, Fromm works it down to 2 on the snap. Holyfield runs into a wave of white, led by David Reese. And no gain on the play.
Dan Mullen still holding on to those timeouts. This drive started with about, what, 8:10, 8:13 on the clock? Yep, 8:13 on the clock. And I would say, of course, if he gets a stop here, Dan will take a timeout.
And now Fromm has been brilliant on 3rd down today. Does he have one more throw, or do they play it safe? We're about to find out.
It's been safe throwing, too.
The way he's been throwing.
Yeah, they got to trust him.
use all the clock again. DeAndre Swift, and he's got the first down, and he's got a bunch more. DeAndre Swift to the house, touchdown. The Dogs have got to be thinking, just get it to third down so we can score a touchdown. Another touchdown on third down. This one 33 yards for number 7, Gary.
Number 53, Lamont Gilliard, blocks 2 men on the play. LSU's Ed Orgeron told us he's the best center he's seen, and he showed it on that play. The left side of the line. He, Kinley, and Thomas all got blocks. Lamont Gilliard got 2.
Blankenship's extra point is good. Look at the smile on Kirby Smart's face.
I'll tell you, hats off to Andrew Thomas coming in playing injured, but watch the center do his work. Help out on the left guard and then get to the second level for the play. Wow, what a play.
Wide receivers got some blocks too, and it's 36-17. 36-17 with 4.5 minutes to play. As Georgia just went 66 yards in 6 plays. Used just about 4 minutes off the clock, and that guy capped it with a 33-yard touchdown run. And Florida will have to start from the 25. You want to know what it feels like when things are going a lot better than a couple of weeks ago? Well, first of all, the head coach on the sideline, that's about as big a smile as you're ever going to get out of Kirby Smart. And then when you're the offensive coordinator and everything you dial and work, that's Jim Chaney. Yeah, wait a minute, just keep going. There we go.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, how about a high five?
One more.
Come on, come on, come on. Where's the high five? There it is.
Yeah. Yes, I talked to Chaney on Wednesday night. He goes, yeah, this week I'm the dumbest guy in the world.
Oh, absolutely. He's a beauty, that's for sure. Franks out to the tight end. Only about 4 yards for Morris Stevens.
Think of all the decisions that had to be made by Georgia's staff this week. People saying, you got to go to the back. No, one more hug for Chaney. You got to go to the backup quarterback. You got to use both guys. You got to do this. You got to do that. And what do? They double down on Jake Fromm. Justin Fields has not played one play in this football game.
And Fromm's been brilliant. Franks getting some pressure down the middle. Good throw. Got it complete. First down to Grimes. Momentarily stopped at 3:55.
Well, Georgia has answered the bell. There was talk about that schedule wasn't tough enough for them before they played LSU. Remember?
Yep.
Well, now they seem more battle tested. This could be the run that they had last year.
You know, sometimes, as P. Ryan has another nice run, sometimes the adversity, you can coach that. You can go, hey, you know, we got too big for our own britches.
Right. Yep. Take advantage of it. I think Kirby did a great job of pointing out his Alabama teams when he was there, lost games, and came back. A year ago, they had that Notre Dame game in their pocket.
Right.
They had that tough game. This year, they were never pushed until LSU.
Franks on 2nd and 4, and Georgia gets home that time. Julian Rochester with the sack.
Well, I really believe, though, if you look, obviously this game, barring a huge miracle, is going to go Georgia's way. But I think Florida's playing with house money here, okay? It's been a successful season. They held this into a fourth quarter, 5-minute football game, and now they still have a chance to win 10 football games.
That's right. Georgia about to go to 7-1. The playoff selection committee gets together, or is together already, watching ball this weekend, and the first rankings come out on Tuesday night. And Georgia's certainly not going to move anywhere, I don't think, out of this number 7 that's the ranking so far.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody who watched tapes of Florida play this year, they knew they were improved, but I don't think anybody said, you know, this is a national championship team. I think everybody said, hey, give Dan his 1 year to rebuild, like Saban had it when he went to Alabama. Kirby had it with 1 year at Georgia. Give Dan Mullen 1 year to retool this thing.
As we said, he has made it way more interesting than it was last year. And it's given Florida fans something to cheer about, but they're all out in the parking lot right now, and all the Georgia fans are still in here with 2 minutes to go. Last chance, and incomplete, and Georgia will get it back. Kadarius Toney, the intended receiver.
Well, it was all Georgia in the fourth quarter. After the Gators pulled within scoring this of 23-17, it was Georgia with a touchdown, Georgia with a 3-and-out against Florida, and then another touchdown. This has all been window dressing at the end of the game.
Yep. And Georgia will take the field. Don't forget, number 3 Notre Dame, talking about the rankings for the 92nd time, taking on the midshipmen of Navy. College football tonight. Carter, Aaron, and Rick will have that one as soon as we're done, or just about as soon as we're done. Elijah Holyfield on the edge and wisely stays in bounds. DeAndre Swift, by the way, with that touchdown run, went over the 100-yard mark for the first time in his career, and you saw he and Elijah clapping over on the sideline together. The 1-2 punch. They've been the 1-2 punch again today.
Yeah, and I think this is the way it's going to look. Barring an injury, I'm not surprised that Georgia has shortened their bench at running back. I mean, Harriman and Cook are fine players, right, but they're not as good as these two guys right now. Maybe they will be next year, but not now. Next game even, you know what I mean? You never know. A sprained ankle and you're going to get your chance anytime.
Holyfield again cuts off the left side to get the first down. Puts both arms around the ball. And another first down, Georgia, and that'll just about do it. And you know what? Jake Fromm 2 weeks ago, arguably his worst game ever. Yeah. I said that to Kirby Smart. Kirby kind of took offense. He said, guys like you said that, not me. And look how he came back this week.
Well, it's just playing quarterback. That's the way it is. I mean, this is a tough league. You come here to play against the best football players in the country, it ain't easy. You're going to have ups and downs. Playing at LSU ain't easy.
Well, whether it's the 97th edition of this game or the 96th, depends on which team you talk to. This one was all Georgia when they needed it to be in the fourth quarter. 36-17. And that's how the standings look now. Remember, Kentucky is still playing against Mizzou, but Florida falls a game behind, and Georgia's in the driver's seat. If they can take care of their own business, they know they can get back to Atlanta and defend their SEC championship. And from not a good game to one of his best, number 11.
Well, the stage has been set for Georgia now. It's Jake Fromm's football team.
I think so, for sure. I don't think there's any doubt about it. You and I have been talking about it off the air all week long, or for 2 weeks for that matter. And I think we both agreed, if you're not going to have Justin Fields play the entire game, give it to Jake Fromm and said, go win the game.
Get out of the way.
No offense to number 1, but the guy with 2 1s on his jersey was pretty special today, and the winning coach is with Jamie.
He's taking a couple photos right now, so let me find him. Hang on, we're getting there. We're getting there, Coach. I know he's a friendly fire after the game. You're all right, Coach. We saw a big smile on your face there in the fourth quarter. You really separated in the second half. What was the difference?
The difference was we got kids with character, and everybody questioned these kids because we didn't play our best game, and all they did was work, and all we did was work, and everybody questioned, and they are tough physical kids. We still got a long way to go, but we got better today.
Some of those questions were about Jake Fromm after that game 2 weeks ago. What can you say about his performance tonight?
He's a competitor. He plays his butt off. And look, guys, we got 2 good quarterbacks, and we didn't get to play Justin Fields today, but this guy played his butt off, and everybody in the world second-guessing him the whole time. We got kids with character on this team, and they played their heart out. I'm so proud of the way they played. I'm proud for the University of Georgia.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Big win. Georgia goes to 7-1 and 5-1 in the conference. And now it's time for the play of the game, presented by Napa Auto Parts. There were a lot of big ones, but this one is the one that sealed it. On another third down, Jake Fromm, Terry Godwin on a laser shot for the touchdown. That basically sealed the deal. It was 29-17 at that time. Georgia goes on to win it 36-17.
Here's how Scott Howard called it on the Georgia Bulldog Radio Network.
Third down and 9. For the corner of the end zone. We caught it at the 4 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Terry Godwin. Yes, indeed. Oh, that was too easy. Godwin beat his man by a couple of strides. Fromm put it right in the palm of his hand, and he scored in the left corner of the end zone.
Third touchdown of the day for Jake, the 16th of the year for him, and the fans get to celebrate in Jacksonville at the world's largest social gathering. 36-17 the final. For Gary Danielson and Jamie Erdahl, Brad Nessler saying so long. The Dogs are in the front of the SEC East. CBS Sports College Football postgame show presented by Capital One. Coming up after these messages. So long from Jacksonville.